Give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Oh yeah. All right. With that, we're going to
that's a good
start.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you. Hello everybody, and welcome back to podcast.
Actually, it's the podcast. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyway, to the GamersParadise podcast. Today we have Kevin,
our resident friendly furry guy.
Yeah, and as per normal, there is me, Kiwi, and then there's you, Cody, and then there's Kevin.
Oh yes, my name, Cody.
Yes.
It's spelled Codee.
Exactly. Cody's nuts. No,
It does not show you're streaming for me.
I'm not.
No, it's not streaming.
We're podcasting. This is a recorded episode.
This is recorded.
Congratulations, Kevin. You now
Yeah,
understand this is a recording that will be edited.
This is recorded and edited afterwards, so you can curse and we can bleep it out.
Effort actually has to be put into this somewhat.
Yeah. Anyway, so first off, as we like to do, Kevin, how have you been? Like, how's your life? What's going on? I know you recently got back into school.
Oh yeah, college.
Yeah,
it's honestly been like an amazing experience so far.
Nice. So the first time you went for
machining,
and this time you're going. What are you doing?
Chemistry. I'm starting at a small community college. I'm gonna get associates and go to a bigger school for a bachelor's.
What school are you thinking about? What school are you thinking about?
That would give away the town that I live in. I'm good.
Oh, you're going to one
funny.
here. I thought you meant like a big school. I thought you meant like Kentucky.
So for people who don't know,
Like
he's
Louisville.
actually going to the school of, or like the College of Secundis.
No, I'm taking advantage of living in my parents' house because I can't afford to live it outside.
Everyone
of
is.
this house.
It's just where we live
funny?
currently.
Welcome to 2024. No,
2024.
but what's funny, I think you could afford to live like you definitely. Out of everybody that I know, maybe besides technically Clayton, but like he's in the military, so that kind of takes care of itself. You definitely could live on your own. I don't think you would like to live on your own.
Fuck no.
But
Yeah, I don't. You don't bring me as you are at the same time a private person, but you're kind of like me, where you're a private person, but living alone is like I would hate that.
I need a cat or something, man.
Yeah.
Or a roommate.
Yeah, you need someone to just at least be around. That kind of thing.
I'm built different. I'm like an extreme introvert. I enjoy silence and shit like that way too much. It's one of the reasons why I like nighttime, because everyone's asleep and I'm just in my room chilling.
Yeah, he says as being a streamer, streaming to people all around the world.
The only
stream
times
to
I've
Aussies.
streamed have been whenever it's either Omen or when it is Ark.
You've been
And
streaming
again,
for the
only
last
things
several
that
years.
require
That's the only
people
reason.
to be with me.
No, but
When I'm on
saying,
my
like,
own,
you've
I
been
don't
stre-
stream.
You've used to stream by yourself all the time, and you can't take away the past.
Well,
But
that
you
may have
used
been
to,
the
and you used to
case,
stream
but
Aussies.
I know I used to do that. Used to.
Yeah, and you were pretty good at it, and then you just.
I decided to
Anyway,
focus
that's-
on other things. I divvied my strengths.
Yeah, he decided that he really wanted to do even more D&Ds.
I'm obscenely excited for
Now you-
when eventually I can do the one I've been planning on doing.
Even I knew when you announced it in the chat. I was like, that was not the time, but good for you.
I'm super fucking ready, but
I know,
it got
right?
delayed. It was gonna happen, I think, on the 28th.
It got delayed because you tried to put it when there's already two major ones going on, and you
No, it got delayed because Dylan had a wedding.
Wait, what?
He not his. He was going to someone else's wedding.
Okay.
But
thought
we
you
were gonna
couldn't
do it
find
on, I believe, the 28th, and he was like,
I didn't
"Can't
think you
do
could
that."
find enough players. I thought that was like one of your biggest issues.
No, I got 3 players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Oh, you know what? I guess I've never shown you all this. And I can't show it on this because no one can see anything. But I've already, done a lot of fucking work on it. I have made a intro thing for it, which I actually do think is better than the Omen one. I've made, obviously, a thumbnail and
the
shit.
Omen one's already outdated because you added
It
a
is.
whole other person, but it's also...
Well, not the Omen one. The Omen one has all you guys in it.
It doesn't have Burke.
He's not a main cast character.
Yes, he is. He's in the squad. He is a main cast character.
He is an NPC, technically a DM NPC, but he won't be for too much longer.
So he's leaving the party at some point.
Yes, I do not have him plan. Peek behind the curtain. I do not plan for you guys to have a DNPC the whole time.
I thought he was just like joining the party forever. Like I thought he was just with us. Okay.
He is temporary. He is there for a reason.
Well, I know that. I've been playing along.
Yeah. Have you? Are you sure?
I didn't know. I feel like I'm the only one playing along sometimes.
No. I think when it comes to D&D, I think you all are playing very fucking well together. It's been super fun.
Well, your dogs want to play.
Oh. All right, we're gonna make the dog's character sheets. Which do you
all
think
right,
they
roll
fit
for
the
initiative,
most?
Poco.
There you go. No, what's kind of funny is because I've also been designing a D&D. My first ever really full fleshed out design one being Fallout. It's kind of built for D&D. I mean, it's literally built in a D&D system. Holy shit! Yeah. Someone stop them.
I like how it's always when we do something like this that they start going.
No, it's constant. It's just the odds. But no, I've been also designing my own D&D, and I already have 2 people volunteered for it, and 2 people have already created their characters for it. This is something that's not going to be done, or at least because I want to wait for either Omen or the other one to kind of like lax a little bit. So it's like this is not something that's going to come out in the next like 4 months. So
it'll probably be a while.
Started constructing their characters. One of those people being you.
Mm.
But
something that does suck is, like, for me at least, I want to do more D&D. Like, I want to do weekly Omen, but it's difficult because I know not to, like, overdo it with Omen. Because I know that some players will want a space. You can do weekly
Omen anyway because there's the other D&D going on.
I know, but that was like the other thing. Because like, there's been parts of me that's like, I could probably leave and they wouldn't care too much. But I think honestly, I don't need to do that much when it comes to like that. Because Omen versus the one I'm doing eventually, 2 different things. One requires a lot of prep. The other one I can just do on a whim. That's the big difference between the 2, which is what I like the most about the 2, because it's like a dynamic that I get to swap between.
Yeah.
And I don't have to stress about making the other.
And that's why I think eventually, when I try to add in Fallout to the cycle, it'll be nice that you'll have one that you have to plan for, one that you don't have to plan for, and the one that you're playing in.
Exactly.
Which you are now.
Which is what I'm doing right now. But eventually I will be doing more so later on all that. But yeah. Speaking of, because I'm actually kind of curious, I've never asked this, Kevin. Do you play D&D?
I have, like, once.
Kevin and me played a dumbed down version of D&D together at my house.
I thought that was fun.
It was a lot of fun. So I forget. It's in my garage right now. I can't think of the name of it, but it's this older, like I think it's like a 90s, 80s game somewhere in that range. But it is quite literally a dumbed down version of Dungeons and Dragons. It is. You have 4 characters to pick from, but you get to design what those characters are. Like you have the physical characters, but you get to design like their names and like some other things. But they already have what they are. Like one is a what do you call that? Like a berserker or whatever that's called.
Barbarian.
What's it? Barbarian. One of them is a barbarian. One of them is a dwarf. One of them is an elf, which is what I played as, which was half magic, half sword.
My favorite race, the barbarian.
And then Kevin played the magician, where he casted Fireball.
Fireball,
which was my favorite part of playing that entire game. Was when Kevin would just go.
I don't care how big the room is. I cast Fireball.
Fireball. It was actually a lot of fun. It was 6 players technically, but it was 5 players, 4 and 1 DM. So it was actually a lot of fun, but it was definitely a more scaled down version.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is, if you ever want to have a fun experience, I'm more than willing to random improv a like bullshit D&D like one shot like I did with the Imagine Dungeon shit. If you ever want to experience that shit, because it's really fun.
No, it is really fun, especially for
Yeah.
someone who, is creative. And I think it depends on like who you're with. Like I know
Yeah.
one of the Imagine Dungeons, and one I wish we would have streamed, was the first one with just me and Ethan.
I thought we streamed
Like,
that one, did we not?
We did not, or at least I
That's
didn't. I don't know if
criminal.
you did.
I have to imagine
Yeah,
I did, but I don't know.
you probably did, but I didn't. And it's like that one was so good.
Yeah, I think I can finally say that I've finally like surpassed that one with Omen now. I think Omen has developed
I
so
think-
well, especially the episode
think-
before the last, where you guys had like so much discussion and shit. It was
I think
just so
Omen
good.
has great moments, but to me, Omen has the problem of, and it's not a bad-ish problem, but it has the issue of when you have four people, they're going to talk over each other. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really hard to get anything across. Like during that conversation that you just talked about, that was so good, and it was. Gug, or Jacob in this case, was essentially quiet the entire time because everyone, especially me and fucking hell,
Quinn.
and Quinn were talking back and forth,
Yeah.
very aggressively at the time.
I will
So
I will note something specifically with that episode is Jacob actually talked to me a while back about that, and the reason he actually didn't talk that much wasn't because he was being talked over. It was actually because he was just really tired.
Well, and here or there, but I'm saying like there
Yeah.
have been moments of that.
Oh, that is
instance.
a given, and like
Yeah.
the reason of that, I think solely is because we're not doing it in person.
Oh,
If you're
I
in
think
person,
that's
it's a
for the most
lot
part
easier
true.
to deal with that.
Yeah,
But because
yeah,
we're
I
doing it
agree.
over words, we kind of can't. But hey, in the
Yeah,
future,
no,
that will change.
But Kevin, if so, at the end of the
What
day,
is
if you
Omen? Hold on. What is Omen?
Omen
exactly?
is a homebrew D&D that I DM for. I host and all that. I've made pretty much every single thing. I have effectively written a story for 4 of our players to go through that is a bit more of like a dark medieval environment where everyone has to deal with like curses that have afflicted them. And they have to live their life with this shit, dealing with a world that pretty much hates them because they are cursed. A great
for an
example is
example?
Albatross.
if I could tag in,
Yeah.
But my example would be Albatross, my character, who is a half elf from an elven kingdom. So he's lived in a pure elven kingdom, but he's a half elf, and he gets the curse of vampirism. So he's a vampire, or at least a pseudo vampire. It's technically they're not full.
The curses in Omen that are very different from the original curses that you would expect to see. They all have their own like I guess bonuses, but also debuffs in comparison to the original curses that they are depicted from.
Yeah. And then there's variants as for every single character. No one has the same one. Now we can run into people that have the same ones, but each of our characters have different ones.
Yep. The only variant of a curse you guys have ran into, or at least they have, is another werewolf. Who currently is the DMPC, who goes by the name of Burke. Burke Ironfang. He is a dwarf, and
He's a gay
for the
dwarf.
most part, he is a gay dwarf, who, by the way, wasn't originally gay. We were in a dungeon,
forced it.
and the character was talking, and they were just like, "Is your like? Do you like this other NPC you're trying to find?" And I just rolled for it on the spot, and sure enough, I guess he did.
Yeah, it's like we're turning the freaking dwarves gay.
Yeah.
We're the
freaking dwarf's gay. Do you understand that?
No, that's pretty fun, and it has a lot of good character moments, and it's pretty.
This fucking last
has
episode had me reeling from laughter. So, Kevin, I want you to get this right. So, like, Albatross, or Kiwi's character, is walking into this what I would like to consider the Abomination pet shop. And as he's walking through this, a little kid walks up behind him and, like, tugs on his cape, and it's just like, hey, can you spare some money so I can get food for my own pet? You know what he does? Do you know what he does?
Does he kick him?
No.
Honestly, much worse. Him and Quinn get together and they basically bully this kid, and then Quinn gives him a potion that turns him invisible, and then they yell at the top of their lungs in a place filled with people that, hey, there's an invisible omen child running around. Run for your life.
Yeah,
So they put a target on this kid's back.
Yeah, there's a cursed child, and like this is a town that hates cursed people, so like they want to take him out. So yeah, Pan, that's Quinn's character. Pan turns this kid invisible, and then we go, this kid is accursed, and then he runs off sad, and like a whole angry mob chases him with pitchforks and torches.
You basically, that's worse than punting him.
Exactly, much worse than fucking punting him. They put him at the stake.
No, he probably got away.
We'll see. I think the
He
spell
was
was supposed to last for an hour.
invisible.
So.
I'd imagine.
If in the next episode, like, because like the invisibility wears off after an hour, right?
Yeah.
So it's like what if in the next episode we're leaving the town and like outside we just see like this kid pinned on the cross, and be like,
I've been contemplating what I want to do with the kid because y'all have done this.
Oh god.
He's gonna come back and
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
He turns into the main villain. We put him on a villain
yeah,
arc.
the BBEG turns out to be the kid that you bullied.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You gave him his albatross moment.
Yeah. Maybe we make like once we finish our story, we get like an Omen 2 and he becomes the villain of Omen 2.
That would be funny. Maybe, we'll see.
It's like it all started at Gilded Yas when when two people bullied the hell out of me.
You know what? Here, actually, let me do something real fast for our friend, oh boy, Kevin. To kind of give you a dip into like the world itself.
The scale.
Yeah, I've actually made an entire world map for this place. It's called Miramar.
Yeah, this is like a fully customized map.
Yep.
Wait, you made this yourself?
Yep. I can't remember what program I used, but there's a program that helped me build all this stuff, and then I did all the photo editing bullshit that I normally do that makes it look all old and cool looking.
That looks really good.
I know. But they are currently in the island of Haroon, which is that one that looks like a weird shaped Y or a V on the top.
Yeah, the icy one.
The one that says the city on the bottom where like the bridges where it says Gilthios is where they're at. That's the city they're currently in, where they bullied a fucking child to possibly getting burnt at the stake. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. But I'm from the golden city of Yorlun at the very top, middle. That's where I'm originally from.
He's from that. We have Jacob's character, who's named
I thought
Doug.
that said Orlando. Like you have all these fantasy towns and stuff, and then there's just Orlando.
Yes, Orlando, Florida.
We're going to Disneyland, boys.
Yeah.
We're going to Disney.
You see, secretly nestled at the bottom of the map is Florida. It's where all the horrible monsters actually exist. But no, so we have our orcish character who comes from Oak Jazar on Aranon, the same island that Kiwi's character comes from. And then on another side, we have Ethan's character, whose name's Damien, who originates from an entirely other dimension known as the Feywild, which is like Alice in Wonderland esque dimension that kind of mimics the real world, but he had backstory shit that eventually landed him on Varnum, where he stayed there for years until his curse shit happened, and just sad backstory .png.
Everyone gets one.
Yeah, and then Quinn's character. Have we revealed where she's from for you guys? I don't know if we have.
I don't fucking pay attention to that.
All I will say is she. I feel like we have.
It's Abadale. I think it's Abadale.
Yeah, Abalail. By the way, that's like one of my favorite named cities so far. But over on the top left where it says Doolin, she is from the city of the Horned City of Abalail. So it's like we have, for the most part, like a good chunk of the map covered where the players are from, or at least where they know the most. But
currently we're on the right side, and we're actually our next full-on destination, I believe, is at the bottom right.
Yep, Nibiru.
Yeah, so we're going as far away as possible from where everyone is from.
Definitely didn't parry that name off of a Zelda deity.
I've only played the first Zelda, so I wouldn't know.
I can't remember. I think it's literally just called Naboo, Naboo or
Yeah.
something like that. No, wait,
Kevin,
no.
have you ever played a
Star
Legend of Zelda
Wars.
game?
I don't remember which
Naboo,
game.
the
Naboo. I was
planet
thinking Star
Naboo.
Wars.
Wait, huh? That's
Hold
Star
on.
Wars.
That is Star
Yeah,
Wars.
well, come on.
Did I
You know what,
mix
okay,
Zelda
can I go on
and
a
Star
small
Wars
tangent?
together?
Can I go on a small Star Wars tangent?
Go for it.
Sure.
Go for it.
So, at the in episode 4, you find out that, which you know later that they're twins, but you know that Leia is the current princess, technically, of Alderaan, where her adoptive parents raised her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Alderaan gets blown up right in front of her, and then she's sad. So afterwards, when they beat the Empire, in the sequel trilogy, she's like a general of the Republic, but the Republic didn't need any generals until the First Order came in, which was years later. So you don't find out what she was doing in between, which one I think is a massive gap. 2,
Oh yeah.
one that they never bring back is the fact, even in the Obi-Wan series that came out, which is where she's younger, and they even talk about her mother, which, come on, bring Padme back. It would be great. Not like physically, but like, mention her a lot more because she's important. But why doesn't Leia become Queen of Naboo? Because her mother, Padme, was the Queen of Naboo. So she is the heiress. And you might go, well, what about Luke? Wouldn't he be the king of Naboo? Actually, that's not how Naboo tradition goes. It would be the firstborn. Always gets it no matter what, and Leia was the firstborn. So she was a princess of Alderaan as Leia Organa. It gets blown up, and then she finds out who her real parents are. So why wouldn't she just transition into being Leia Amidala? That'll be her mother's maiden name, and become Queen of Naboo.
This is confusing me. I'm too stupid to.
So she gets adopted by essentially royals of Alderaan, right?
Yes.
She gets adopted by royals of Alderaan. Alderaan gets blown up. It no longer exists.
Yes.
Her mother was the queen of Naboo before she died in childbirth. So when Leia grows up, why doesn't she become the queen of Naboo like her mother was?
Oh.
It's always irritated me. Like, Naboo still exists. It didn't get blown up. We know that for a fact. So why didn't she just become queen of Naboo?
Maybe she established a democracy or something. Then just left.
Well, the answer is they don't ever.
Yeah, they
never thought of
talk about it.
We
they
the
don't-
people.
Well, it doesn't even say they become a democracy. It just says that literally nothing happens with Naboo. So they just never bring it up again.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like this weird gap in knowledge that could easily be explained as either she did or she didn't want it for some reason. But they just leave it blank. They're like, who knows? Who cares? We'll figure it out later if it ever comes up.
I feel like,
Yeah.
especially like late Star Wars, they do that a lot, where they just write a bunch of bullshit and then they don't explain it. And to me, one of the worst parts is like, not to dog on the trilogy that no one likes, but like, or maybe like a few people, but like the more recent trilogy, right?
Yeah.
My biggest
Garbage.
gripe is it's horrendous, but one of my biggest gripes is they could have given the chick, I cannot ever remember her name.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they could have at least given her a legitimate train arc before she was able to even contend with Kylo Ren. But she should not have just been out of the gate able to defeat him. In no means. He was trained by Luke.
Yeah.
He should have swamped her in every way.
I will say, put the lawyer case up there. In defense of the first movie, specifically only in defense of The Force Awakens. 1, she could have. It already kind of shows that she's a very naturally lucky person, that he's a naturally unlucky person. 2, it was actually a 2-on-1. People conveniently forget that. She did not beat Kylo 1-on-1. Forget his name, but the black guy was there.
Yeah.
I know his real name. I don't know his name
Finn.
in the movie. Finn. There we go.
Finn, yeah.
I know his name's I think it's John Bodega or whatever. So in real life, but Finn was there and actively helped her. And you find out later that Finn was also Force sensitive. So it was really 2 budding Jedi versus 1 Sith, who was also very yes, Kylo was, or Ben in this case, was kind of trained by Luke, but he'd only been training with Luke for like 3 months before he was shipped off, before he became a Sith, and no one trained him after that. So he was just kind of learning on the fly. He was not a trained Sith. So it's a lot more even than people give him credit for. However, the rest of the series was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had to say the biggest sin was making her a Palpatine.
Yeah, no, I don't
Because
understand that.
what they should have done is make her a Shan. If they said that she was a descendant of Bastila and Revan, and you're like, that's why she's just so naturally powerful, everyone would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Everyone would be like, yeah, okay, that's fair. But the fact that you made her a Palpatine, everyone's like, really? Really? He had a kid? This super egotistical guy who thought he would live forever thought that he cared to have children?
Nah.
Maybe, but
Nah.
probably not. So it's like, yeah, it's really weird.
His pull-out game was not there, man.
God damn it, Kevin.
There's no way you actually wanted a child. Nah, his pull-out game was just bad, and he just kind of didn't care about it.
And Star Wars, historically suffers from the George Lucas effect, which is he thought it was going to be a one-off movie, the original Star Wars, which is why it wasn't named anything besides Star Wars. It wasn't Star Wars A New Hope at the time, because it was supposed to be one movie and that was it.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be a movie that was supposed to make him a little bit of money so he could make a different movie that he really wanted to make. So it wasn't even like his big plan to make Star Wars. But ultimately, he did make it, and he did try, but he made an isolated solo story. If you watch just the original Star Wars, it has it fully completes its arc.
A beginning,
A middle and an end.
yeah.
But then they wanted to make it a trilogy, and then he was kind of making up on the fly, which is why at the end of the first movie, Leia kisses Luke twice, despite being twins. And you might think, well, they just didn't know that they were twins, or like as far as the writing perspective. The problem is that at the very end of the trilogy, Leia says that she always knew that he was her brother, that she fully understood who he was because she had forced memory, which is a force power that they mention later on, that she can remember things based off of objects. And she learns it from Obi-Wan's lightsaber. She can recollect it. So it's like she knew.
I'll be honest,
the
for a second I thought you were
time.
just gonna be like, and Luke's an object.
No.
He's a tool.
No. Well, she can recollect her birth and all this other stuff, which is why she knows Padme. But it's like, if she always knew that it was her brother, why would they kiss twice? And it was and the first one was you can say, oh, it was to get Han off her ass. The second one was fully by themselves. She just did it. So it's and what it is that George Lucas didn't plan them to be related. He had no intention of making them twins. They were supposed to just be two random people that just so happened to meet, hero, princess, classic story. And then he changed it because everyone loved Harrison Ford. Because originally I think Leia and Luke were supposed to end up together at the end, if he did continue it. But then everyone was like, Harrison Ford is so hot and so good at Han that he was like, all right, we can make him the love interest.
Didn't he hate also doing anything with Star Wars?
Yeah. So basically, Star Wars suffers from, at the time in the early days, the plan was there is no plan. Yeah. Therefore, when they started fleshing everything out, it seemed a little bit weird and too new, because it was. Everything they added.
Something to also remember is that he also George Lucas, whenever he's writing and shit like that, he's also willing to bend to the ways of the crowd a little too easily. I think the greatest example of that is Jar Jar Binks. I actually think he had an amazing plan for Jar Jar Binks.
Wait, what was it?
Jar Jar Binks was going to be the original Phantom Menace. He was going to be the original BBEG, if you will. But just because he was so vitrilistically hated by everybody, he was just like, fuck, I guess I can't do that. Gotta make an angry, bald man. the main villain, unless we got Palpatine. And I think, well, actually, no, I think Palpatine was already
What?
planned.
Palpatine was in the original movie. What are you
Yeah,
talking
no,
about?
it wasn't Palpatine. It was it? Who the fuck was it that he had originally planned to?
Darth Maul?
I think it was Maul. I think Maul was actually a quick add-in, if I recall. It's been a while since I've like looked back into this, but for the most part,
I think you mean Dooku.
no, yeah, you're right. It was Dooku.
Because Dooku wasn't in the first movie,
Dooku,
but he
you're
was supposed to
right.
be in the background.
100%, it's Dooku.
And then he added Dooku in the second movie,
Yeah.
which was a great addition.
But the reason
Dooku's
that like
fantastic.
this idea of Jar Jar Binks, who at first glance just looks like a stupid clown, was such a great idea is because if you notice in Star Wars, the fighting styles of anyone who uses like a lightsaber in general, they have these very I don't fucking know the actual name for it, but I'm just gonna call it like the Asian sword styles where you have like different types of uses of like the katana or some shit like that, right? One of the known fighting styles that was, I wouldn't say popular, but was pretty well known back in the day was the drunken master. Someone who is clumsy on purpose.
Yeah, it's a boxing technique.
Exactly. And it was obscenely well connected with how Jar Jar Binks acted. He did a lot of motions that were like super awkwardly perfectly timed to look as if they were an accident. But he was also shown, like, he is an idiot, a buffoon. So how the fuck could he get so highly into the government so easily? And the best example of this was shown that, like, in most cases where he's talking to someone and he wants them to agree with him, you will actually notice he does the same hand motion that you see, like, Obi-Wan and them do when they're doing the Jedi mind trick. He does the same shit.
Despite being an idiot, he can very easily manipulate people.
Yeah. And
You see that outright.
in the Legends comic, they actually revealed that he, well, basically was easily hinted at having incredible force powers and insanely good with like the blade, because in one of the comics, my voice is going out. In one of the comics, he was in one of the fights with like the clones and shit, and the clones weren't doing super well, and I think one of the clones was just making fun of him because he's so useless, and so at one point he escaped to hide. And this clone was fighting the robots, and he was getting his ass kicked. So he rounds the corner, takes up this lightsaber that was on the ground, and starts beating the shit out of all the droids. And then when the guy looks up, he's like, Jar Jar, he drops the lightsaber, acts like he fumbled some shit. He's like, oh, the Misa's so stupid. It's just like, he's so cool and could have been really fucking awesome, but the fucking people hated him too much. And I really hate that. I would have loved to see Darth Jar Jar.
I think, to a degree, yes. However, getting Dooku was worth it because
Dooku was really good.
Well, when you're played by an absolute masterclass of acting, it's pretty easy to like him.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna be on this little tangent again, one of the greatest additions, one of the single greatest additions to Star Wars, comes from Star Wars Clone Wars, of course, being Ahsoka. Because in the original movies, if you really watch it, and you go, why the fuck did Vader really turn evil? And you get, oh, he turned evil because he didn't want his wife to die. Okay, what killed his wife? Him turning evil. It's like, what? Him turning evil is what killed his wife. Yeah, he only turned evil to save his wife. I know it's supposed to be the gambit where to save his own life, he had to take hers, and he did it on accident. It was this huge thing. But it's supposed to be tragic. But when you get into the Clone Wars, you find out that it wasn't just fear of losing Padme, it's that he had already lost Ahsoka. He had gotten so close with Ahsoka, and they did the right thing in Clone Wars by actually giving him the rank of Master, which was like a big thing in the original movies that they wouldn't do it, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But they...
Oh, I can't.
But they show often that like he had this close relationship with not only Obi-Wan, but with Ahsoka and Padme, all three of them. And then they slowly break it down over time to where Ahsoka is forced to leave, and then she doesn't really want to be around him anymore. And then he starts getting a little bit more distant with Obi-Wan, and Padme started to become a problem, and then her pregnancy comes out, and all this other stuff. So it's like it's much more of a slow building of all of these bad things happening that eventually turns to bad, instead of this legitimately just like a finger snap moment where he's like, I'm just gonna be bad now.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens in the movies. Is like he is Palpatine. Palpatine's like, you know, I've been your friend. You could save me and kill the one black guy.
I like to
And then
imagine
he's like, okay.
Palpatine just says do it enough where he's just like, you know what, fuck it, I will.
Yeah, and that's kind of too like, and obviously it's a big generalization, but that is kind of what happens.
Yes. No.
And the Clone Wars, it masterfully just adds to it. Now there's some.
It basically, in the original story, Palpatine literally convinces him to be evil. That's basically just it.
Yeah, where in the Clone Wars he's actually a damaged
He goes
person.
through the world's worst thing, known as depression.
He goes through a lot of. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say depression was his problem, but there was a lot of.
But
yeah. You lose your life and someone who's like. People will take this like, not in a romantic way, but he had a very intimate relationship with Ahsoka. I know some people want it to be actually romantic. No.
Yeah.
But, and it's not even really the age gap, because it's actually their age gap is smaller than him and Padme's.
Yeah, she's got like a really big age gap between them.
Yeah, Padme is 7 years older than him, and
Yep.
he is 5 years older than Ahsoka.
I do
Or
like
something
how
like
the
that.
community just kind of brushes over that, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is like it's actually more common for women to date up than date down. So that's why a lot of people do like Ahsoka more, because it actually makes a lot more sense as far as our society goes. The problem is that ever since Phantom Menace, people were like, "This is the chosen one. He's the next Revan." Like that's like canonically now, like that's who they thought he was. They were like, "This is the next all-encompassing power of the entire universe." If the all-encompassing power of the universe wants to bang you, you kind of just let it happen. I can kind of understand from her perspective that it's like, yeah, what am I going to do about this anyway?
If the almighty power of the universe wants to bang you, you just have to say yes.
I mean, that's what Bastila does. I mean, technically, Bastila forces him to fall in love with her, but like,
That's
romantics.
funny.
Well, she actually, I'd say force. She accidentally forces him to do it.
That's
weird.
funny. Aside from all that,
aside from Star Wars, what the fuck are we talking about?
I can't follow all of this.
no,
stuff.
you're good.
Sorry,
Kevin,
we like to rant here.
I want to ask you a quick question, real fast.
Was,
What have you been doing besides school lately? You've been playing any games? You've been watching any movies?
I've bought another car and been trying to fix it.
That's right. I forgot you were a car guy.
You wrecked your last car.
What?
Yeah, it's in the body shop.
Still?
Yeah, because they messed it up, and I actually got it back from the body shop. I brought it straight back to them.
Why?
I didn't know your car got wrecked. What happened to the car?
It was raining. I was going through Louisville, and hydroplaned and hit a wall.
Oh, that's fun.
Very.
Yeah, I saw the video of it. He has video evidence of it all happening.
Dash cam footage?
Yeah, front and back.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did you Beyblade?
Huh?
No, he didn't.
You didn't Beyblade?
No, I smacked the wall and just bounced off of it.
Ah,
Done.
Yeah. Oof. Big oof.
Yeah,
Big
didn't let it
mega
rip
oof.
enough.
Mm.
I'm kidding, of course, but so you said now your car's like it was in the shop before, and then you took it out and it went back in. So what happened on the back end part?
They obviously rushed the repair.
Oh no!
And I said, "Nah, fix this."
That's funny. I hope you
Well,
didn't
this
have
is
to pay
funny
more for
because
that shit.
originally you didn't want to bring it to the body shop. You wanted to fix it yourself.
Yeah, because of this. Because I.
Yeah.
If you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself.
I told my parents, I was like, you know, like I don't. Friends, like, you know, friends these days are usually built different, and like I am very lucky with the friend group that I have that my friends are legitimately built different. Like, I don't know many people that have the kind of friends like you. Like Clayton called you in St. Louis, being like, "I'm breaking, like the shit's going down. I'm breaking, his truck wasn't doing so well," and you were ready to. I think you did. I think you did. Did you go to St. Louis to get him?
No, I did not.
But you were willing to. You were like on standby. And I was like, I asked my stepdad, like, do you have any friends that would just like come to St. Louis on a drop of a hat for you? And he's like, maybe. I do. I don't, like, honestly, if in like a normal day, a normal setting, I feel like if you called Clayton, he would do it. Like, unless he seriously had something going on, like that was really important, he would drop something. He would drop minor stuff to come get you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like, I don't. You on a day that you worked the next day and you work the morning shift, you came out at 2 a.m. to come and get me and Ethan, who was stuck at Panther, not Panther, Yellow Creek, a park in our town.
Because your battery did the funky.
Yeah, I know. It's like, no, but like, that's what I'm saying is that like most people would just be like, "I'll fucking deal with it. I'm going back to bed." And you're like, I'm gonna get out of bed. I have to go to work in 4 hours, but I'm gonna come and save your ass. And I was like, they don't build friends like mine anymore. Ethan's lacking.
It reminds me of, there was like one time a while back. I think I was streaming Terraria with Cameron. I want to say it was one of our first like Calamity playthroughs of it. But there was a stream where I had to leave halfway through because Ethan's Suzuki had fucked up. Like the whole, I don't know if you remember what happened, but like the fucking bottom of it actually just fell out. Like it broke apart. And like all the fucking shit just spilled onto the road, and he had to like pull over. And I just remember getting a call being like, "Yo, my car fucking died," like just straight up, and I was like, "Fuck it, I guess I'm on my way then."
That's weird.
I had to go there and direct traffic and shit.
What I find weird is that he called you. Did he call you first?
He had called his like dad and his grandparents and shit, because I think his grandparents have like a tow truck or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but he called me, I think, because I was in the area. I wasn't like too far away, maybe like 10 minutes away.
So
but he called me like on the spot, from what I recall.
Okay, so what I think is weird about that, I guess this is the difference between me and Ethan, is like legitimately this is what happened. So I was driving, ironically, to Taco Bell at like 3 a.m. with 4 young women, not too young for that, nothing like that, and I'm related to all of them, so not like that.
You just started with that one.
All right.
They're all my cousins. Okay, so and basically what happened is
Alabama.
Shut up. No, I was sitting there. Shut the fuck up. No. So we're sitting there watching a fucking movie, and Alyssa's like, "Let's get a fucking Taco Bell." I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. Let's go get Taco Bell." And all of them were like immediately. They're all like sleeping. Like it happened like this. They were all laying down sleeping. I'm sitting next to Alyssa. It's 3 a.m. We're watching Shaun of the Dead, and she just looks at me and goes, "I want Taco Bell. You want to go to Taco Bell? Let's go fucking Taco Bell." I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. Let's go get Taco Bell." And all of them at once, like it looked like a TV show. All of them at once jump up and go, "Yeah, let's go get fucking Taco Bell." So we all get in the fucking SUV and we're going to Taco Bell. My mother, who, because if you don't know, my car was parked on the side of the house, and we have it parked right behind my car was the SUV, so I had to take that. It was the next best thing, and outside the most seats, so it's fine. But my mother is the single worst, to where she will leave her car without gas in it. Like, she will get to the house on fumes. She's one of those people. And I didn't notice until I was halfway to Taco Bell. I looked down, I go, it's the first time. I'm not there, halfway to there. And I realized, I go, what happens if we don't have enough to get back? I was like, I'm sure we can get to Taco Bell. It's getting back that I'm like iffy on. So it ended up being fine. So long story short, we ended up getting home perfectly fine. It was all good. But the next day, I told my mom, I was like, I was a little bit worried that, like, you know, we'd run out of gas. He goes, well, you know what would you do in that situation? And, like, without a B, I go, well, yeah, I call Kevin. He goes, no, you call me. I go, no, I call Kevin, and then I call you. Like,
That's funny. That's fucking funny.
I even told him, like, the only reason I'd call you first is because at that time, Kevin, you were out of town. So, like, you would have been the call because Kevin's out of town. But if Kevin was out of town, I call Kevin first.
I got a cherry can. I'm covered.
No, it's like, but here's the thing: it's like I genuinely believe that you would, which is genuinely why I told her I would call you first and then her, and she was kind of offended. She's a little offended.
That's for me. That's kind of similar to like what my dad does. Like if there's any like all the vehicles we've had, he's the one who always repairs them and shit like that. So he's almost always prepared for any situation that comes to a vehicle problem. And when I had my old Suzuki, like it was known. You can ask Ethan. That thing would fucking break down anytime I went out in it. But my dad was pretty much always prepared. The only times he wasn't was similar to Kevin, where it was like when he was just away, right?
Yeah.
And so there were many times where I would call and he'd be like, "Yeah, just park somewhere and I'll be there in a bit." And you could tell he's like disgruntled. He has to get up and do something, but he's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Kevin's just that type of guy, you know.
And
Congratulations, Kevin! You're officially built different.
Yeah, it must be nice to have a dad that's there.
You have the inverse of Ethan's situation.
Kind of. Not as bad. Kind of. Well, I mean, we talked about it in the last podcast.
Yeah, I think a little bit we did. That's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of the reference I was making. But yeah, still. No, it's good times. Good times. Yeah, fucking up cars.
Fix
Yeah.
your shit. Don't run out of gas. Maintain your shit.
I know.
Yeah, a little hint for people who drive cars and aren't stupid enough to look at the gas gauge enough. Just remember to keep only fill it up when you're like a quarter left in it. When you get that corner, immediately fill it back up.
Yeah. She's just the worst at it. It's kind of funny though.
Actually, running it that low, like on the fumes, it's very bad for your pump anyway because then it sucks up all the dirt and soot, whatever shit is at the bottom of your gas tank.
There you go. So, but additionally, we're talking about games that you've played recently. A game that you haven't played recently is Borderlands 2 because you've been fucking busy.
Me?
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I forgive you. No, you. To be fair to you, you did literally DM me today, like, hey, we should actually continue Borderlands. But for like the last 2 weekends, it's like, and review, like, as I've even told checks, I do have a few people that like win Borderlands, and I'm like, I literally can't. Like, he's trying to become a chemist. He's trying to become Walter White out in the Arizona desert. Calm down. But yeah,
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, legally, we have to state that he's not going to go to Arizona and become Walter White.
Yeah.
Yet.
I am kind of curious. When it comes to Borderlands and shit, like, I know Kiwi's like super into Borderlands, but are you also super into Borderlands as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can ask this question then. How did you like the movie?
I did not watch it. I will not watch it.
The answer was so
Care
bad.
to explain as to why? I got Kiwi's point of view. What's yours? What's so bad about it?
I mean, I can't. I can only really bring up the points that he's already brought up.
I'm sure.
Because I haven't watched it. I'm sure the writing is terrible. I'm sure the acting is jarring.
Everyone's old.
Good.
Yeah,
everyone's old.
The only actor who's actually lifting his weight is Jack Black, and he's not even physically there, considering he's just voice acting in that film.
And even he wasn't that great.
No.
He didn't want to be there.
No, I don't think anyone wanted to be there for that one.
Well, what irritates me about Jack Black in that movie in particular is that he's a voice actor, right?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you just get the original Claptrap voice actor to,
They
voice Claptrap?
purely did it for money. They wanted a big name on it, and Jack Black was the easiest one because he's in his what I like to call the Dwayne Dwayne the Rock Johnson like era of like video making where he's just everywhere.
Acting, but he's just everywhere.
Yeah.
That's Dwayne Johnson for you. I want to be in every movie, but I want to be terrible in them. Okay.
His roles have not been good, but he has been everywhere. That's just kind of where he's at right now. I mean, best example is the recent Minecraft trailer where we're all worried about.
Oh, God.
I'm convinced that this... I just cannot see this being a... my opinion is, like, people are, like, hoping that it's going to be a good, bad movie. I just don't think we're at that era of video... like, of fucking movies now where we can get good, bad movies anymore.
I'm trying to think
I think this is just going to be another flop.
I'm trying to think what is the best Jack Black movie, and, like, Tropic Thunder's got to be up there. I'm looking for...
Tropic Thunder is definitely one of them.
Okay, I want
Kung Fu
to say...
Panda.
One of the things that I liked him in the most was The Holiday. If you've never seen it, it's a romantic comedy, so like it's not like actiony, but it's pretty good for what it is.
Oh, another good one's Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre is pretty good.
That one's fucking funny.
Apparently, he was in Sesame Street at one point.
Yeah, almost every actor's been in Sesame Street, even fucking Jim Carrey and Robin Williams.
Oh, okay, fair enough. He was in Ice Age? What do you play in Ice Age?
Probably one of the fucking, like, later movies, because they had, like, a fuck ton of movies, don't they?
It says Ice Age 1.
What?
It says Ice Age 1.
There's no fucking way. I gotta... Jamie, look this
Zeke.
up.
He played Zeke. Whoever Zeke is, he played Zeke. Zeke was one of the lions. So there you go.
That was...
In the first movie.
Wait.
That was him?
This is Ice Age 1.
Zeke?
Yeah, he was one of the other...
Sabretooth.
Lion.
Oh, okay, so...
Damn it. Okay, I just don't... I don't picture that voice on this character.
No, I don't either.
Okay, well, I guess at some point I'm gonna have to re-listen to that audio.
Yeah, I cannot remember his voice.
No, neither can I. That's baffling to me. Okay, so I have a similar situation to this, actually, with my favorite movie of all time, which is one of the Studio Ghibli movies known as Castle in the Sky. And in that movie, the main villain is played by, which is kind of funny because we were talking about a movie that has this voice actor in it, or actually actor in this case, but he was played by Mark Hamill. And
I thought you were gonna. I legitimately thought you were gonna drop Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I was
no,
like,
that would be really funny. But no, he's played by the fucking Luke Skywalker. But it was Mark Hamill. He's been played by Mark Hamill. And for the longest time, I've watched that movie so many times, I never once noticed that he was Mark Hamill until I was like looking at the case. I was looking at the actors just for the fun of it because I was just wanting something to read, and I see his name on there. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, who the fuck does he play? And then I look it up on Google, and he plays that guy, and I was just like, excuse me? And then I immediately watched the movie, got to that point where his character was there, and I was like, holy shit, it is him. How the fuck did I not notice that?
No, he plays a lot of... He plays my favorite version of the Joker.
Oh, yeah, no. Any
he's
animated version, pretty much.
He's game, but yeah. He's an excellent voice actor. I would say he's a better voice actor than he's an actor. Good margin.
Yeah, no, he's really good at voice acting. There was one animated episode, I can't remember which Batman one it was, or maybe just one of the Justice League ones, but it was like, he voiced himself, he voiced the Joker, and he voiced the Flash's, what's his name, like Prankster or something like that?
What?
I can't remember what his fucking name is. The Trickster. He voiced the Trickster.
Okay.
And it was just an actual... and he also voiced, I believe it was the Man-Thing, or what the fuck is he called?
The Man-Thing.
What the fuck? Swamp Thing. There it is.
Pig.
I was thinking of... Man-Thing is the Marvel version. But he voiced like 4 to 5 characters from that. And it was basically an entire episode just him talking to himself. And it was honestly not bad.
You know what I thought of recently, because me and you have talked about it too a little bit, is I don't read a lot of comics, but of what I do unanimously, and this isn't including manga because I do read manga, but like as far as comics, American-made comics, unanimously they're all DC. And it's like I've looked at comics that were Marvel, but they just do not interest me.
Currently,
it's weird that a lot of
I
people,
think the best comic
you,
run
sing
currently
their praises.
is the Venom one. I've been more than less only interested in the Venom run so far because they've actually had good writing put into it, especially because they have people. There, I think, is it Jack Kirby? I don't think it's Jack Kirby. There's this one guy who was really, he was known for one of like the really fucking good Marvel like runs. That was like one of the end all be all like comics, right? Like it spanned, I think, some of the Civil War comics, and it was just known for to be like one of the best. I think it was Secret Wars 2, I think.
Is that Steve Ditko?
No, it wasn't him. But all I remember is this dude, when he fucking writes, he writes really fucking well. And I think in the recent Venom runs, he's actually been writing for them. And as I've said, like his shit's really good and it hits almost all the time. And for the same situation, this Venom comic lately has been fucking banging. It's been amazing. We finally got Spider-Man back in the Venom suit. And it's effectively dripped out more than it usually is. So he looks really fucking cool.
I can promise you it's not Jack Kirby, as he died in 1994.
No, I don't think I can't remember his actual name, but for some reason Jack Kirby came to mind. But it
he's
was
one of the most famous writers of all time. But yeah.
But it was so fucking like good to reread a lot of the shit.
No,
because,
I'm
like,
thinking like
so much is happening right now.
I'm thinking about characters, and I've seen a lot of like all-time classic covers and even some stories from comics, mostly from Spider-Man, other Marvel stuff. And I'm thinking like I just in my head, would I rather read about the Avengers or the Bat Family? And it's like I just don't care about the Avengers because they're all like weird and different, and like in every variant, there's different people in them, and it's like you don't get to connect with a bigger group like that if they just change. And it's not just them that do that. You know, X-Men kind of do that to a degree. And like other big Teen Titans, to be fair to them, DC does it too. Teen Titans is hard to keep up with because there's always different Titans in it. It's like keep them somewhat the same for a little bit. So when you get to the Bat Family, where everyone is always there, it's always the same people. You can add one or two people, but no one leaves. It's like there's continuity to it. You can understand it. And they're all different people. They all become different people. And it's just nice. And I guess to be a little bit biased, my background on my computer is literally the Red Hood, and he is my favorite comic book character ever. So there's that. But yeah, it's like I really like reading Bat Family stuff because it really hits me.
Batman's really good. I think he's definitely one of their better selling like comic book characters. I think him and the Flash are like my favorite.
Yeah, but I'd say as far as comic goes, it's hard to beat the first, which is Batman. Batman was the first legendary comic.
Yeah.
Superman came out 2 years later, and then you go from there. I don't know when Marvel started. I assume Marvel started like in the 50s.
Don't know when. I can check that out real fast.
There you go. But yeah, DC technically, because I don't think it was DC at the time, but DC's run of Batman and Superman started at the tail end of the 1920s into the 1930s. And I think Marvel came in right after World War II, so they might be in the 40s. But overall, point being is
just so you know, Action Comics or DC started in 1934, and then Marvel started in 1939. So just a few years after.
Yeah. Well, 39. So they were during World War II. So
yeah.
I guess good for them.
That's probably why they started, because like just to boost morale around that area.
Well, it's probably that's where you get Captain America.
Holy shit! Ethan's playing Helldivers 2. That's wild.
He plays it pretty consistently, actually.
Does he? I have literally not seen that notification until now. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, he plays with Jasmine.
I've been seeing them play a lot of games.
We want to tag to a different subject altogether. How do you take such an obvious Game of the Year winner and just throw it down the toilet like that?
You know what? Actually, that's a great idea.
Oh, you don't remember what they did in the first place?
No, what did they do?
You want to take this one?
Oh, no, please. Crack knuckles. Here we go. So, To start off, it started with Sony. They decided that they didn't want anyone out of a specific set of countries to play Helldivers 2.
That's not where it started.
That was their plan.
Yeah.
And then they basically showcased, hey, we're going to do this. But we're also going to... there was another step that I'm actually forgetting at the current moment, which I think you could fill in the blank here.
Let me tell you. You're losing it, dog. Let me tell you again. Because my brother is obsessed with this game, so I know I get told all this all the time. So, people at Sony wanted their PSN numbers to, because they were going into their first quarter of the year, and they wanted to have this big leap for investors because they were going to announce at the time the first instance of the PS Pro, a PS5 Pro, which they delayed. They were going to announce they're going to do their beginning of the year showcase, which they did end up doing, which by the way had Conquered in it. You all know how that went. And a few other things for investment reasons. So what they were going to do was they were going to require people who played on PC to force you to have a PSN account.
Yep.
The problem is that PSN is not available in many, many countries. So to them, they were like, this is an acceptable loss. We're just going to make people who bought this game full outright fairly. They get completely screwed. They can no longer play the game ever again. We're going to steal their money and laugh our way to the bank. Our investors are going to pay us billions of dollars, and we're going to be happy for the rest of time. And then they found out very quickly that the movie community will take a lot of shit and not protest. TV shows, people will move on eventually. Books or whatever, people will protest for a year and then they'll forget about it and life will go on. The gaming community is built different. The gaming community is you slight one, you slight all. Even people who had PSN, people who were playing on PlayStation who had PSN accounts, it would not be affected at all, boycotted the game because of this. Like, everyone unanimously together made this one stand besides my brother.
This, by the way, was so influential that the game developers themselves agreed with what was going on, and then in the game made a cape that is the actual Steam scale graph. Yeah.
It got review bombed, and it went from overwhelmingly positive to overwhelmingly negative in the span of a day.
Yep.
They went from it was over 100,000, maybe even 200,000 positive reviews to over 300,000 negative reviews.
It was literally like a flick of a switch. They just all right, we're shooting this game dead in the foot. Boom.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Eventually, Sony did half and half come back where they go, okay, you won't be required to have a PSN account, and everyone's like, okay, breath of fresh air, which is where the game is now. You do not require a PSN account.
However, this is the part where, yes, what I was saying is they did not relinquish the ability of other countries to rejoin back in, even if they'd already bought the game. Those people that from other countries were completely barred from being able to play the game.
Why?
Because Sony is a prick and they only care about money that they can quickly farm. And unfortunately for those other countries, they were not it. They were not a part of that fun circle of video game enjoyment.
There's also one addition is that the game at the time they were trying to release it in China, which is already just a big problem. Yeah. And China notoriously doesn't like certain other countries having shit that they have. Taiwan. And a few other places. So they were limiting countries that could be on the list that had already been able to buy the game, mind you, at full price, without refund, because of that. And then the game ended up not releasing in China at all.
Yep. And because of this, this massive wave of distrust that Sony just gave, basically half, if not more than half, the community was just we're done. We're done with this. We're not playing this.
I'll give you this. Conquered at its maximum in the 12 days that it was out, at a maximum Steam play of 784 players. At one point per day, at its peak, Helldivers hit 500,000 100,000 people playing.
Yep.
For days on end. This wasn't like one day it happened. It was several days in a row it hit that number, which is not only nearly unheard of unless you are literally Call of Duty, but for an indie game should be theoretically impossible. And they did it, and they did it very quickly. It was Firefest. It was burning so bright you had to be a part of it. And then Sony decided, what if we just killed it outright?
Yep.
To now, we get to the point where Sony, because they felt slighted by Arrowhead, the people who made the game, they won't give them nearly as much money and support as they used to. So now they can't really support the game, and now they're trying to make some stuff work. They've made some debuffs and some buffs, and they're adding a few things here and there.
The biggest current issue that I've heard from others with current Helldivers is that the game's difficulty has increased, but the balancing for it for the player side has not.
Yeah. Basically, at one point, the players were considered overpowered, which, to be fair, they were. But then they swung it way too far the other way. Additionally, and probably the biggest and the last point is, you remember what I said about them having a continuous player count of around 500,000 people? Right now, at least on Steam, they have, because that was on Steam. That wasn't even counting PlayStation. 500,000 people on Steam per day. Now, per day, they have about 40,000.
Yep.
Which is still a lot, considering it's an indie game.
They've
It's
lost
a lot
like
less.
everyone.
They lost like 80%
Yeah.
of their player base on Steam.
Oh, how the mighty fall.
Yeah.
But
And
the thing is,
then
they didn't need to. Like, there was no reason for them to fall, except for that Sony just literally came in and then killed it. And personally, I think it's one of the reasons Concord failed. I think people didn't trust Sony. And they were like, no, we're done. We put our faith in a live service game, and then you say to put our faith in another one? No, we're good.
I hope so.
Oh, no, Concord's already pulled off the shelves. They lost
they
$1 billion.
literally
Oh,
linked it
I
like
know.
first weekend.
Yeah, they already lost $1 billion on that. They just
I
took it
really
outright.
hope that that's why that happened, because people are just fed up.
Oh no, there was other reasons, but I feel like that was there. It was present.
Yep.
Like, I saw the video on the Act Man and what here or there about him, but he did a pretty excellent video where he broke down why gaming has become where it is. So check out this video. I think it's why AAA games don't work, and it's you take a lot of these small companies that are not legacy companies. Yes, Arrowhead has been around for a long time, but they've been an indie developer for 20 years. They've only made small-time games that about 20,000 people play, maximum. Like, they're not a gaming community that makes something for so many people, and not a lot of small companies can handle that many people. 500,000 a day. They're not built for that. So when Sony comes in and goes, you know what, I believe in this product, I'm going to invest in you. Here is $100 million, more money than you could ever even really dream of or conceive for the games that you are making. And then they make something that genuinely is excellent, or you make something that's in Concord that's not. And now you're not just losing, a few $1 million, which is still a lot of money, but for Sony, you're not losing a few $1 million on a game that just ended up flopping. You're betting the house, the farm, and everything on this indie developer being able to make absolute magic. Every game has a $100 million budget. Why? Yeah, I understand that GTA 6 does, but that's Rockstar. Rockstar's been around. Rockstar's done that. Rockstar's proven their point. They've been here. They've done that. They've sold. GTA 5 sold for $11 billion. They've earned the opportunity to spend $1 billion on a video game. Arrowhead hasn't, even if they did very well with the money that they were given, mind you. The people who made Concord, they did not earn that opportunity.
Nope.
They should never have been in that situation in the first place, and it's very disingenuous for people like Sony or even Microsoft to do that. It makes me think of.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I think to make like the situation of Concord worse is like there were even though like you could tell like a lot of the developers did put some like they put their effort into it, but even they like most of them were like, we know this isn't going to go well. But what baffles me is there were still some that were, I guess, offended at the fact that people didn't like the game, even though everyone knew why.
Well, it's just when you put your heart and soul into something, you get offended when it gets completely shat on. So I can understand why their immediate knee-jerk reaction would be offense.
I guess, but it's like you have to know where that game's going to go if you're the one building it.
Yeah, I think of like the Acolyte where it got canceled and the main girl was like, "Oh, it's because of all the racists." It's like, no, it wasn't because of all the racists. It's because it wasn't a good show. But it's like, but that's a knee-jerk reaction because you don't want to believe that you're bad. No one wants to believe.
No one wants to believe they're not doing what.
No one wants to believe that they're the reason why something failed. So it's like, or not saying that she was, but it's like you never want to be the cause. Like, Amazon was they spent $1 billion on Rings of Power and it lost $800 million. So you know what they did? They made a season 2 that was equally worth $1 billion. And you know what they did? They lost another $800 million. Big companies do not understand that doubling down is not always the right choice.
No.
It makes me think of someone on a smaller scale, of someone like when I think of indie development, the two main people that come to my mind is Toby, I forget his last name. The guy made Undertale.
Fox.
Toby Fox, and FNAF. Help me out.
Scott Cawthon. Okay, so it makes me remind of those two people. Scott Cawthon was able to capitalize on his massive success on a game that wasn't supposed to be world-ending. It was supposed to be literally kind of a throwaway game. Like it was his last attempt, essentially, more or less. And then it took fire, and then eventually, when it started to die out, maybe he went a little bit too long in the tooth, but eventually he did either change the formula up, or at least attempt to, whether it worked or not, up to debate. And then the time came, and he left. He left the series. He was done with it. He washed his hands of it. He was able to capitalize on something, and then tried his best with what he had. But then you had Toby, who caught fire with Undertale. It was still one of the best stories of an indie game I've ever seen. Yep. And maybe he was, caught off guard. Maybe he was just like so surprised. I don't know I'm not going to speak for his mentality of it, but it seemed like he didn't know what to do. Because when you look at Deltarune, it makes no sense that he's releasing it in chapters, and even now he's like, I don't even know if I'm going to complete the game, but he still is working on it. It's like he never intended there to be any more, but he felt like it was so popular he had to make more. I think with his massive success of Undertale, he's at the point where it's like, I think Deltarune's just a hobby for him at this point. Yeah. But I think that's the two mentalities. Scott Cawthon made a game that was arcade. It was an arcade game. You can play it over and over again and have a different experience. Where, yes, you can do multiple playthroughs of Undertale, but once you do the main 3 playthroughs, that's it. It's a story-based game. It's not meant to be continuously played again and again and again forever. You can go back to FNAF 1 right now and technically speaking, have an experience that no one else has ever had. At least not one-to-one. They would have extraordinarily similar, but when something happens, why it happens, slightly different. It's meant to be like that. So it's like, how do you can easily catch fire again, with that being just FNAF 2. Technically, it looked worse, but it had way more story and way more things going on, and it worked.
It was more fleshed out.
Yeah, it was more fleshed out. He left room to grow. Deltarune was doomed to fail because how could you go any higher than Undertale?
You can't.
I feel like he really couldn't. Expectations were so high that it kind of killed. Maybe it killed his creativity. I don't know. Maybe it just. I don't know. I like I said, I can't speak to his mentality, but I feel like there's a reason why he just kind of stopped. It doesn't also help that like the community that is in Undertale has theorized so much shit about Undertale
that then bleeds on to Deltarune, and now he's probably just like worried that like their expectation of his art isn't going to be what they want.
And I think he lost the crucial lesson when you get into art, which is, I've been told by, ironically, a wrestler, not like told directly, but like in an interview, he was talking about it. He goes, you gotta have a little asshole in you. You gotta be able to be a dick, because the crowd's gonna eventually not want something from you that you're not able to give them, or that you don't want to give them. Scott Cawthon was definitely at some points being like, fuck you and your feelings, I'm going to make the game that I'm making. And people were like, yay, he's making the game that everyone wants. So it's like, sometimes you got to be able to piss off the crowd in order to give them something that they will eventually enjoy. I think Toby's too much of a nice guy. I think he wants to make something that everyone enjoys, thus he can't make anything.
I still remember when Deltarune was first coming out. After like he made the first one, he was like, well, now that I have the first one, I'll easily be able to make the second one. And it took him like 2 years to make the second one. And now that he's made the second one, I think he even repeated a similar thing where it's just like, I have a lot of this backlog stuff, so it should be easy for me to make another one. And now it's been similarly like almost 2 years. If not more, I don't remember.
It'll come.
It'll come out eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, no,
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I think the hype machine was
slow.
so high. I think the hype machine was so high that he had to let it die down. So that now if he releases Deltarune, like 80% of the people who cared before won't really care. So now the expectation is lower. He can have if he has like a decent product, it's gonna look good because no one's expecting it to be great.
What I will say is, I don't know if that's exactly true, because I do feel like he is the king of, whenever he makes a game, or like one of the Deltarune chapters, it does feel like they explode, like immediately. And the greatest example, I think, is the second chapter of Deltarune. I feel like when that happened, it took the internet by storm.
Did it? I don't really remember.
I think it did, because like my greatest example is Spampton. He was everywhere. He was in everything.
No,
and it was
fair.
similarly, I think, with Jevil as well. Back in the day, people were fucking they were crazily mad for this jester-like character.
Yeah.
I think he just has that pizzazz of making a character that explodes the game. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it again, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair. However, I think you do run into my favorite, explanation of this as far as like YouTube goes is Life is Strange. When Life is Strange, the first one came out, everyone played it. Everyone, even people who didn't even run gaming channels, were playing it. It was the game. If you didn't play it, were you even a gaming channel? And then then the prequel came out, and then a good amount of people played it. About 90% of the people who played the first one did. And the second one came out, and about 80% of the people who played the first one came in. And the third one came out, and about 20% of the people who played it came in. It's like, it had such a drastic jump that when the third game came out, I saw people being like, huh, I didn't even know that it was being released. And like, you would be like, oh, someone who would definitely play a game like that, being like a Jacksepticeye or even like, game theories, people who like put a lot of time into this series, didn't even look at it. Look at it. Not let alone play it. Didn't even look at it. And it was such a thing of the past that no one cared. How long did you wait until people just?
I think if I remember correctly, I don't exactly know, but I'm pretty sure the third one had some like drama happen while it was being created. I don't remember what it was, but I know it was like one of those stupid ones.
No, it was one of those. That one company that comes in to enforce DEI into video games. Like that's all they do.
Oh yeah.
That was where it really started. Was they came into Life is Strange, which weird is because Life is Strange already has canonically gay characters, there's canonically non-gay characters. It has all the people. So it's like, I don't know why they felt the need to add their own stuff to it when it was already there. And it got so bad that now season 4 is coming out where they're like, oh god, it's a nuke fire. We really have to bring the original main character back, and all these other things. They're drawing at straws to get anybody to look at them, and I don't think it's gonna work. I think people will play it, but it'll be like a pity play. Like people are like, oh, because it has Max in it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it would experience a similar death to Concord. Maybe not in like the instant get out of the shop type of situation, but like it's just not going to be as like wanted.
Well, Concord was so bad as at marketing that Vanoss played it. Vanoss played it. I watched the whole video, and I had no idea what game he was playing.
Yeah, I remember. I think you said you thought it was Star Wars.
Yeah, I thought it was when I saw the trailer for it, I thought it was Star Wars Outlaws, which was another game that was coming out, and then I just skipped it because I didn't care about Star Wars Outlaws because I thought it was going to be bad, and which it still was.
What even is that? What do you do in that game? What is it? Is it
Which one? Which one? Concord is Overwatch, but bad.
Yeah, but much worse.
Oh,
and the characters look even worse.
And here's the best part.
Apex Legends. It's another Valorant.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the best part. Apex Legends, Valorant, and even now Overwatch are all free. This game was $40.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm gonna guess it still had like loot crates and shit.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea. I think it had like unlockables. I think it was more season pass kind of thing. Not season pass. Fortnite.
God, could you imagine a season pass for that type of game?
Not season pass. What is that called? What Fortnite has? Battle Pass.
Battle passes, yeah.
That game had a Battle Pass system.
Yeah. So, I guess stepping away from this, actually I'm kind of curious, I guess, on your guys' opinion of like the games that have been taken off currently, like the most. So I feel like the 3 games that I've been hearing the most talk about that have like the headway for Game of the Year is obviously one is Black Myth Wukong. The other one is the Space Marines 2 one, I believe, that's been taking off because it's effectively filling in the space that Helldivers was. And 3 is this one that I had no idea existed until recently. It's like Astrobot or something like that.
Yeah.
Supposedly, this Astrobot one is like the
So
Infinity War of other games, where it's like pulling in a bunch of Sony IPs into one game, and it's somehow working really well. That's what I've heard. But that's
I've heard
like
it's very up and down. That you either really love it or you really don't like it.
I have no idea. But Black Myth Wukong. But Black Myth Wukong, I have heard nothing but good praise. Because it's akin to like it's kind of akin to like the Souls games, but it's different in many different ways. Probably more akin to Sekiro.
But yeah, if you were to ask me what game in this year should win Game of the Year, it should be Wukong.
I think so too.
And the reason why is people go, well, it's not the most played game. Well, motherfucker, if the Game of the Year was always most played game, Black Ops 6 would be the Game of the Year.
Technically,
and Call of Duty
wouldn't Minecraft win every year then?
No, because you're not eligible for Game of the Year like that. Now you can get Game of the Year awards, but you can get legacy ones, but you have to be released in that year to win Game of the Year. So Minecraft wouldn't win every year.
I just remembered also, by the way, that like I know they can't, but I really would not be surprised if the Elden Ring DLC counted as its own game because it's just that big. It won't. But like if it did, I don't doubt that it would be nominated because of how good it was.
It will be nominated for stuff, but not for Game of the Year.
Yeah, not for Game of the Year. But I 100% don't doubt that. Like if that was the case, it probably would also.
No, it's gonna win. It's gonna win an award, guaranteed.
Oh, 100%.
It won't be. But anyway, but Black Myth Sun Wukong may not have the highest player base, but it's something that people have been cramming for such a long time, and it's like one of the biggest. This is funny. People who don't play games just don't understand it. But there was this there's a journalist that I saw writing, and they were like, the problem with Black Myth Wukong is that there's not enough diversity in it.
What?
Motherfucker, it's a Chinese game in a Chinese market about a Chinese myth. You're wondering why there's not anybody else but Asians in it?
I mean, technically speaking, there's not really even Asians in it half the time. It's mostly animal people and monsters.
They mean like voice acting. It's like most of it's Asian Americans or Asians outright.
That's wild to me.
And it's like, well, yeah, it's almost like that's who fucking made the game.
Yeah.
This is the same reason why the Assassin's Creed game that just came out, whichever Shadow or whatever it was called, wasn't gonna work. Yeah. A black samurai was historically accurate. Why? It was like, of all the things that you could do, why pick him? You could have picked actual samurais because that's what people like. And the one person's a big, well, he was an actual samurai. Shut up. No, he wasn't. He was not an actual samurai as far as the standard is. When you look at, what's that one? It actually is a Sony game. What is it? Shadows Die Twice?
Sekiro.
There's actually a name to it.
Never heard of it.
Well, I think there's one of them. There's like Ghost of Tsushima. That's what I'm
Ghost of
thinking of.
Tsushima is another really popular one, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima. It's like all these super popular samurai-based games are Asian. It's like, wow, isn't it surprising that by the way, for diversity, this prominently Asian game of a minority, at least here in America, is popular? Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
Wow. You can't let them have their day, can you? Unless it's black, I hate it. It's like, why? That's what it seems. At least that's what it seems, because they don't care about Hispanics, they don't care about Asians.
Yeah,
so it's like,
no, you almost always
they're
hear it
also
whenever it's either an American person or a white person or a like an Asian person. So you never hear them complain about anything like any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's like, but you don't get any of the other ones, at least as far as like them trying to push it. But you know, that's not really ultimately the problem. It's like the story of Sun Wukong. Also, additionally, if you just take it out of that specific game too, it has inspired so much. Guess what? Dragon Ball, Sun Wukong, outright. My Hero Academia, guess what? Eventually, it's based off of Sun Wukong. Ruby, Sun Wukong. It's like you could actually list maybe 1,000 different things that you know of that originally is based off the story of Sun Wukong, and you would have no idea. Now, some of them are very obvious, like Dragon Ball is literally called A Journey to the West.
Yeah.
Like it is one-to-one a ripoff, but it was meant to be.
All right, I know how to make a story now. Let's go.
There you go. Like, honestly, genuinely, you could
just copy mythology. It's like,
Yeah,
Copy the Bible. Copy.
Yeah.
it's like one of those two: mythology or the Bible.
You mix the Chinese mythology with the Bible, and you get like some really fucked up shit. But you know, I'm sure it's gonna be great content.
And make a multiverse out of it. Bada
you
bing,
go.
bada boom.
That's how you sell. We cracked the case.
I mean, technically speaking, isn't that just God of War?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just out of curiosity, how much about Wukong do you guys know?
I don't know.
I know a lot about the original story. I don't know a lot about the game.
Okay, then I guess this is more for Kiwi, but like, Wukong would beat the shit out of Kratos, right? Wouldn't even be close.
It depends, because the problem is you can't really technically beat Kratos, because as long as you're alive, he will respawn.
That's
so
not too dissimilar from Wukong, because
that is true.
The thing with Wukong is he was literally banned from entering death. Completely.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. Like, what the fuck did he do? For death to be like, get the fuck out of my room.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like what we talked about with him versus Doom Guy. It's like, it's much less could he beat Doom Guy or could Doom Guy beat Kratos. It's much more of a how long will it take for Kratos to talk him out of fighting.
Or
because
in the sense of Wukong, how long would it take for Wukong to get bored?
Honestly, well, here's the other addition. If we're talking about their personalities, I don't think they would fight in the first place.
Oh, definitely not.
Like, they're not.
Well,
they're not
okay, hold
who,
on. I think Wukong would definitely try to agitate Kratos into a fight, but then he'd be like, "It's just a joke."
Yeah, I think it depends on which version of Kratos. If you get like
Wukong is
OG,
much of a trickster.
No, but if you get like OG Kratos, like who you can easily tease
It's hands
to a
on
fight,
sight.
It's hands on sight. But if it's like new age Kratos, no, you can tease him all you want. He's not gonna, unless you're threatening Atreus, he's not gonna fight you.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, I guess that would be the dependent, which
That's
is
funny.
pretty funny to think about. But yeah, but to a degree, maybe even I don't know if Kratos already existed, but it's like he's probably also to a lesser degree inspired by Sun Wukong. It's like that inspiration, like
it all comes around. It comes full circle.
It does, which is why I do believe that it should. One of the reasons why I think it should win Game of the Year is it is the all-time classic story. They took a story that has been around for literally thousands of years and put it into a media that it hasn't really been in that form.
And not to mention, they did something that I feel like a lot of media nowadays doesn't do, which is they give it justice. They do it justice. The story matches and is really close to the original shit. And nowadays we get games and movies that don't fucking do that.
Yeah, but you know why it was so close? It was actually made by a Chinese studio.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed? If you get anybody from the actual race that had the story, it's good.
Also, I want to apologize for the amount of coughing I'm doing. I think my voice is fucking going out.
Allergies.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the fucking season. Oh, I have a water bottle right here that I just finished.
Get more water, whore.
I'll probably go here in a bit. But I think with all that being said, we can finally move on to the game section of things. Unless you have anything, unless you want to say anything.
I'll do one more thing, because we're talking about Kratos, right. and then we joked about the Bible. There's that constant joke that they're not going to do it. They wouldn't do it. There's a constant joke that what if Kratos entered biblical canon, and he fought like the angels? One, I thought I was thinking because there is a God of War in the Bible. He's not considered a god, but like what we would what for Kratos, what would be considered a god is Michael, the archangel. He's the archangel of war, so he'd be considered the quote God of War, lowercase g. So it's like you have a 1-to-1 comparison to Kratos as far as Michael goes, as far as what they were. And even to a degree, Michael is also considered the Angel of Hope, so they're very similar. So it's not that you couldn't have intrigue with him intermingling. It's why would this version of Kratos fight Michael? Because it's like you're taking a very, I guess you would say, much more passive group against a pacified person. Kratos doesn't care to fight them. So why would he? That's additionally why when they're talking about going back to do him versus Ra and the Egyptian sun and the Egyptian gods, it's a prequel. Because the Kratos that you get at the end of Ragnarok doesn't want to fight anybody anymore.
Yeah, we're effectively waiting for
even in God of War,
Atreus' story afterwards.
Exactly. It's like that's what it should do, is just move on to Atreus. But it's like even in God of War 2018, he only fought in defense, not offense.
That's true.
I need to play that series, man.
It's actually I was voted. I'm gonna play it on the channel from the original God of War, all the way through.
Oh, you're doing the whole thing.
I'm doing the whole shebang.
That's gonna be fun.
I know.
Yeah. All right, now it's fun time. All right, let's enter into the video game phase of things, or not really video game, but just fun game in general, wordplay games and all that stuff. So let's
We're gonna play a game. And you can play along with us.
It's game theory.
Tell us, no, not that.
I know.
Imbeciles. But you listen to this right now if you've gotten this far. 1, you should like and subscribe to the channel. 2, you should leave your comment on your answers for what you would say to this game that we're about to play.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Play alongside us in the comments. There you go.
So, this is a game that you've heard of before, but altered a little bit for the sake of just how this podcast generally works. It's called Would You Press the Button? And directly below that I have Explain Why. So we'll be explaining the reasons for our answers directly after. But the first one we were going to be doing the video game section. Well, actually, before we do that, do you guys want me to bounce between video games, anime, and movie, or just do one section at a time?
One section at a time.
Yeah, right. One at a time.
Alright, then in the video game section, the first question is, right after the fucking message, I'll be... God damn it.
Right after these messages, we don't have any...
Alright, this video was sponsored by,
Hopium. We're not sponsored by anything. If you want to sponsor the channel. We're not technically monetized, but we will get there eventually. So hopefully it'd be really cool to get sponsored by somebody. Like, I'm waiting for it.
fuck is opium?
It's that we hope to get money.
No. What is our product? What's the product?
It is these sugar pills that make you full of hope and dreams. It's an antidepressant.
Okay, it's cocaine. Got it. We're advertising cocaine.
Yep. Legal cocaine.
You heard it here first, folks. Legalized cocaine.
Exactly. No,
I
but
will
still,
mail it to you.
I think it would be great to get sponsored by Manscaped. If I ever got sponsored by Manscaped, would you let me shave you?
Oh my god.
What
Sure,
conversation have I
bud.
been hearing this whole time?
Sure.
No. You're serious.
Yes, I would
That's so
let you.
goofy. It's gonna be one of those videos where it's like you're zoomed in on like the spot, and it slowly rises up to like as it gets shaved.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the
So
camera like
goofy.
on your back or whatever, or your chest, and then like it's just gonna like show the razor slowly going up the camera frame.
You're gonna
out
do
of the
all
camera
that,
frame,
and then
it's
you're
gonna
gonna
show the
slap a
patch.
blurred effect so no one can actually see anything.
Yeah, but it's gonna show like just like this patch of bald
And then you're
hair
gonna have a
and, like, all
Patreon
hairy
version.
guys. Yeah, exactly. But it's like I'm gonna. It's just, and I'm gonna whisper in the mic, sponsored by Manscaped, and it's like, and that's gonna be it. And it's gonna be, and you know, it's gonna be the greatest ad ever.
I'm sure they're gonna love that.
Sure they will. That's a $3,000 sponsorship right there.
Sorry about the break, by the way. My mom was talking about having to do stuff for my sister in a little bit. But that
Gross.
aside, not like that. I'm gonna fucking
Alabama.
slap you to kingdom come, my boy. All right. So
So if I,
the first
wait,
question
you
for the
get to
video
make the
game
Alabama
section.
joke when I'm talking about my cousins earlier, but I don't get to make one with your sister. This
No,
is
it's my
double
sister.
standard.
Why the fuck would you do that? You're talking about cousins
We're-
and sisters.
we're just
There's a difference.
Is there?
Anyways, yes. So the first question is.
All I'm hearing is that you'd fuck your cousins.
Huh?
What the fuck is going on? Anyways. So, it's not really a question, I guess, but it's a statement rather. So, you get the power of using like Minecraft Steve's inventory, you know? So you can like carry as many shit as you want in your inventory, right? You get that? But once every week, a creeper will spawn within a mile of you, and it will start hunting you down. So once every week, you have to defend yourself from a creeper. And you can kill it in any way you want. But
So the question here is two things. One, how much inventory space do I get?
it's just Minecraft's inventory. In the entire
Well, here's the
usage
thing,
of
is, like,
Minecraft's inventory. If
I
it's
get,
like a normal item that you would see in like Minecraft or how that would start, like the
Well,
stacking
like-
shit works the same.
But does everything stack?
It would be similar
Or-
to Minecraft, where if it's considered a tool, it doesn't stack. If it's considered a clothing or armor, it doesn't stack. But if it is something like a pot, that stacks technically. A flower would stack. Technically, anything that isn't
Okay,
like
so-
that would stack.
So I guess, and then part two would be, how hard would it be to kill this?
So, in my mind, because like, so thinking about how tall fucking shit is in Minecraft, right? It's like what every block is a meter tall or something like that.
Roughly. So, so the creeper, which is two blocks tall, would be a little over 6 foot tall.
He's a little over 6 feet.
And that's how
He'd
big
probably
he was.
be as tanky as your average human, as your average man.
Okay, so like, because this is in real life, right?
Yeah.
So I could just like go out and buy a gun and then just cap him right in the dome. every time he
Exactly.
spawns.
That's one way you could deal with that. There's other ways.
So this isn't really that bad of a drawback. So I would say yes.
You would take it? Okay.
would press
Kevin,
the
how about
button.
you? Would you press the button and get Minecraft Steve's inventory, or not?
I would.
You would. You would also. Okay.
What would you use
What?
it on?
Yeah. What would you do
Your
with... I guess that's a good question. What
mom.
would you do with the inventory?
Oh, you just want my mom for her cooking.
Yes, you are absolutely correct.
You just store her cooking. Hey, you know, if Minecraft inventory of food doesn't spoil, so...
Go.
You
That'd
just
be pretty good.
you could stash your inventory with food.
Oh, that would be amazing if food.
That'd be
you
awesome.
Put, whatever food you put in this imaginary box that you have now is like it stays fresh until you take it out. Oh, awesome.
And technically speaking, since it's in inventory, no one can search you for an item you have.
Ooh, you can sneak in anything.
So yeah, you
anywhere.
could sneak items in. But the only
Which
issue
is
is when you
so-
pick something up, you just hear...
That's fine.
Just imagine
Do I go
like
to
someone sets like a
college and I
tip
have-
on a table, and you just go to snag, and all they hear is, what the fuck was that noise? I
That
don't know.
would be so nice for college. I just carry my laptop in my inventory.
Exactly.
But I guess
Exactly.
my question now is, how would
Who
you
needs
how
a
would you
backpack?
deal with the creeper? Would you take Kevin's or Kelly's fucking like method of it and just cap a bitch?
I've just light a mortar, you know, like a little fireworks, aim it at it. A Roman candle. There you go. Aim it at it.
Oh my god.
Bada bing, bada boom. Because you can
As
use
technically,
flint and
if you can flint and
steel.
steel on it, yeah, you can light it. It works similar to a firework or dynamite. But the issue is, you have to remember this thing's blast radius.
I just run the fuck away. What are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing: it's ever so slightly slower than Steve.
Yeah,
So like,
it's easy to
wouldn't
get away
keep
from.
Up. It'd be moderately easy to get away from.
Yeah.
All I'm
It's
saying is that you
not
could have
too
a
dissimilar,
hidden
probably, from like the
po-
fucking snail predicament.
No, you can just have a hidden pocket Glock at all times in your inventory, and when you see that motherfucker coming around the corner, you just whip it out and just dome like 5 bullets straight to the cranium.
Technically
Remove
speaking as
item from
well,
inventory noise.
all you have
Glock
to do is
in
build
hand.
like a moat around your house, and then it can't ever hurt you.
Wait, what
Yeah,
if I
but
just carry a cat around with me?
Yes.
Then you win. But
Dude,
now
you
you have
gotta
to like
but
super
but
take
wait.
care of the cat.
But you,
It's
but you
in my
can't-
backpack.
But you can't put a cat in your inventory. It has to just be on your person.
Well, you can carry it.
It's in a backpack I'm carrying.
There you go. He has an actual backpack, and in that backpack
Yeah.
is the cat.
All
It's
right.
one of those clear ones that you can see through.
Similarly, I think I would also take it because I feel like Minecraft Steve's inventory is super fucking broken.
Yeah. Well,
You could go
there's
rob
so
a
many
bank and they would not know where the fuck you stored the shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have a infinite pocket
Yeah.
that you can, not infinite, but it's like you have a pocket universe that you can just put anything into.
I like to imagine it's like they're sitting there questioning you. It's like, where'd you put the shit? I don't know. I guess you'll never be able to figure it out. And it's like just as much as you'll never figure out where I did with your gun. It's like, what? And he looks down and all he hears is
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Well, then you're making yourself guilty. You gotta play
yeah.
the smart here.
It's funny though.
Yeah, well, you
But-
have so many moments there.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
but
oh,
I feel
yeah,
like
you
we
can't put a
all
living
consecutively
person
were
in
just
there.
like press that button. Right?
Yes.
Alright. Then moving on to the next prompt. You get the protagonist skills of Leon Kennedy, but every time you try to sleep, you relive all of Leon's past experiences as if they were your own. So you are as skilled at doing every single action that Leon Kennedy can do in the game, but you have to relive his stuff.
Here's the problem: you have a Resident Evil nerd in the call.
Yeah.
Leon is not the most skilled in Resident Evil.
He's not, and I knew he wasn't, but I knew he's really fucking skilled.
He's really fucking skilled. So I
He's
assume
also,
this is
for some reason, durable as hell.
I assume this is Resident Evil 6 Leon.
It's
This is
yeah, I would
older
consider it what you would consider
Leon.
peak Leon.
So this is a dude who can take a lot of damage.
Keep in mind,
can
this is a
dish it out
dude
pretty
who
well.
got punched in one of the movies. He got punched by a Titan and just stood back up.
Yeah. Well,
So
technically,
wait,
all of
have
them
his
do that.
powers and have PTSD,
Pretty much,
Exactly.
yeah. That's what you're
or
asking
just be a normie.
for.
Yeah. So what I would say is, like, if you really look back at his past, it's only like 3 moments that are really that bad.
I feel like
So-
the worst part, honestly, is the entire part of like Resident Evil 4. I feel like that experience was probably hell for him.
What?
The
No,
amount of
you-
shit he had to go through in
no.
Resident Evil 4.
You find out later that he actually really enjoyed Resident Evil 4's time frame. It's
Oh, did
Resident Evil 2 that gets him, because Resident Evil 2 he's 20, he's a child.
That's right. It's also
Like-
like when the first
like,
shit was happening.
Resident
That's
Evil
right.
4 he's technically 27, in the remake he's 25. So it's like he's older, he's more experienced, he's ready for it. He's there to save Ashley.
Yep.
The trauma of Resident Evil 4 is on Ashley, not on Leon.
That is true.
Where the trauma really came in with Resident Evil 2. Technically, there's a movie that happens during Code Veronica where he gets some shit happens to him. I forget what it's called. And then you get Resident Evil 6, which is pretty bad for him as well. But it's also, most of it is what his relationship with Ada. I don't have a relationship with Ada. I think she's hot, but that's about it. So, you know, some of his transgressions wouldn't affect me because I don't care for the people he cares about the same way he does. Though, no, let that be known. The night of Resident Evil 2 would be very bad to relive, but you live. Like, it's as bad as the trauma would be, you survive it, so it can't be that bad. I'm pressing this button.
You're pressing it? Alright.
I'm not pressing it.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of agree with Kevin on this one. I don't really want to sleep every night and have to relive his trauma. As much as fun being as a partial superhuman would be, I don't think it's worth the existential crisis that comes with it.
You also got to remember this dude drank like 5 gallons of liquor in one day and was fine.
Yeah,
like,
no, he's built different.
He is built diff.
But he's built different because he went through so much shit.
That is true. But now I don't have to go through all that training. I just know.
Exactly. Yeah, so you would be the super soldier, just with horrendous depression.
Exactly.
But on to our next prompt. What? No, yeah.
Some Captain America.
Pretty much. Or probably more like Batman, honestly.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. But on to our next thing. This one you will also like. You get access to the Fallout skill tree. However, the only way to gain XP is through violent actions.
Like what? Like how simple can those be?
So, in the sense of like Fallout, it like scales similarly. So like, obviously killing someone would give you a lot of XP, whereas doing like a hit or a slap would be very minimal. So you could be a guy who just farms single points by just slapping somebody, or something like that.
Here's my plan. I'm pressing this button. I'm kidnapping somebody, putting them in my basement, and slapping them every day.
You're torturing.
I'm making a routine.
You're making a torture chamber to get XP.
You're
technically
XP
speaking,
grind.
you know what you could do? You could get hired as an executioner somewhere in the world that still does that shit, and you just get free XP for doing your job.
Wait, no, I just joined the Ukrainian army. There you go.
Oh my god.
But here's the thing. This Fallout skill tree is a lot of not useful shit in real life.
Well, I mean, those skills would probably carry over.
One of them is
though.
like animals won't attack you. It's like that's like moderately
I'm friends
good.
with the animals.
No, that would be insane. You go up to a fucking like polar bear and it's just looking at you just like, sup, dude. You just like, sup.
I'm going to the
why
zoo.
would I ever be
You could literally go into any
bear?
zoo and just be completely chill with all the animals.
Yeah, I'm going to the zoo and I'm hanging out with my friend here, Lion.
You're gonna get arrested.
I don't give a fuck.
Well,
My
no, you won't. You
negotiation
want to know why?
skills are
Because
so
you'll also have the high charisma skills where you can look at someone and be like, I'm not getting arrested. And you'll be like, well, sure, you're not. And he'll just walk away.
No. Here's where you're wrong. You said the feats and the skill tree. That's not part of the skill tree. Having high charisma is not part of the skill tree.
What was that part of?
Yeah.
It's a part of your special.
Huh? I thought like leveling up gave you those perks.
No. Now, well, they do in Fallout 4 because the Fallout 4.
That's okay. Sorry. Then I guess that's more what I'm thinking of because that's the only Fallout I've legitimately played.
Oh well, 1, fix that quickly.
We tried.
It's out of the 3, first shooter ones. It's the worst. That's not bad. That doesn't mean that I don't. I mean, I'm playing through the 4th game right now. It's not that I dislike Fallout 4. But it is the worst out of the 3. Either way. No, because it's Wild Wasteland. Now aliens are gonna crash down in the sky, like right in front of you, and like they're gonna want to shoot you with their weird hyper beams. Or you're gonna see some weird explosions and shit. Like there's a lot of like weird stuff. Okay. Good question. What about the mysterious stranger? How does that work?
I mean, technically you would have that still, so you would just call upon a guy who just kills people.
Well, the perk is for the mysterious stranger, and there's also Miss Valentine. I think it's like Miss Fortune Finder.
Yeah.
Is and that's only in New Vegas. Is when you use VATS, specifically only VATS. When you use it, occasionally a dude will spawn with a revolver, and he'll get a critical shot on whoever you're shooting at, no matter what.
Yep.
But it's like, but in real life you don't have VATs. So is it just like
Yeah.
anytime you do a violent action, he'll just occasionally appear with a revolver and just cap the dude?
It would probably be something like that. I imagine that kind of thing would shift over. You wouldn't have VATs, but it's like, maybe in like a fight or a scuffle where you land a really solid good blow, that guy will have a chance of appearing.
Yeah. And then there's some that
You
are
shoot
like,
someone in the testicles, he appears there to shoot them in the other side of the testicle.
yeah, exactly. What's like, or like one of them is you shoot 20% slower, but you shoot 20% more accurate. So it's like, you know, that would affect in real life, but it's like also how is the gun shooting slower? Like it's like you're just doing that.
You're just really slow at pressing the trigger.
I guess like it forces your finger to be like.
Yeah. Your finger literally makes the rust moving sound effect, just.
Honestly, I would say because it's either live a normal life or live a normal life to where you get XP. So it's like occasionally. So I guess I would press the button, but I wouldn't care to actually try to get XP. If it just happens, it happens.
You don't want to kidnap someone?
No.
I think my idea was probably a really good strat where you just go into like you get a job where you can just really kill people to farm XP. I think that's probably the route. You kill criminals that are like horrendous scumbags, and you know, you just profit.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good one.
Okay. What about the one that makes you know, vendor prices cheaper? Is it like when you specifically go into like a dollar store?
Awesome.
You get like an automatic 30% discount?
I would imagine to be like you get like a special credit card.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm sorry, I have the platinum card. You know, you gotta give me some.
You have to give me 30% off everything.
That would be so good, though. That'd be so awesome. That alone, I think, is worth it for me. That's probably the first skill I'd fucking try to unlock.
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
Sadly, you have to be like level 10 to do that. So, like, what level am I now? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it would probably
level
add
1?
up the amount of violence you've done so far, or it would start you right out the gate. I don't know.
Yeah, assuming it has like back pay, assuming it goes back to your previous violence, how much XP do you think you'd have?
The amount of times that I've hit my brother, a lot.
I feel like I'd be like a level 3 or 4. Like I feel like I'd be up there, but I wouldn't be like super high.
I wouldn't be super high as well, but I definitely did tussle a lot back in the day with my older brother.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
Moving on from that one, I assume basically I think we all pressed, or did you not press, Kiwi?
I pressed, but not with the intention that I don't really care if I upgrade.
That's because it's effectively a pretty harmless addition. So it's
either you live a normal life or you live a normal life with a few perks.
Yeah. But on to the next one. This one's a bit different. So you receive Link's, specifically in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's, ability to heal like immediately after eating food that is like well cooked and well prepared. But any food you dislike before is now poisonous to you. So any food you specifically do not like to eat, me as an example, I do not like pickles. But when you order like a chicken sandwich from a place like McDonald's, they will sometimes like just remove the pickles from the sandwich, but you can still taste the pickles. I wouldn't be able to eat that anymore because the pickle juice would remain.
What? But wait, do you think that they just now removed the pickles when they give you the sandwich?
No, I've had them do that at well, not specifically just McDonald's, but I have had them do that at Sam's Club. Whenever I went to get their chicken sandwiches, I asked without the pickles, and I could literally see where the pickles used to sit on the sandwiches.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as Chick-fil-A, you know that Chick-fil-A's batter is pickled, right?
I'm not surprised.
They put pickle juice in their batter.
That explains why some of the chicken sandwiches I've had just are not good.
Oh, I like it. I don't like pickles.
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't like the consistency of pickles, but I don't mind the flavor of pickles.
Alright, does the healing include cancer and shit like that?
It would be like
full heal.
Well, I guess it would be depending upon the food, because if we're going off of like the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom thing, different foods give different bonuses.
So it's like your favorite food gives you the best bonus?
So there's one that's like, you can get like heat resistance or cold resistance, shit like that. And then there's some that give you bonus health, some that increase your strength and defense. Actually, hold on. In Tears of the Kingdom, there is a meal you can make that gets rid of what's called the gloom effect, which in this case probably would be considerable to cancer, because it literally kills you. So maybe...
If I ate a fucking pizza, how much pizza do I have to eat to be fully healed?
Well, I guess it'd be depending upon how much health you think you have.
So I'm saying, like, theoretically, I could become a jobber boxer, right? And in between rounds, I just like take a nibble of like a granola bar, and I'm like, and I got more health, so I can just take a few more hits.
If I remember correctly, an apple, in Breath of the Wild, was like, it was either a quarter or it was half a heart.
I think it's a half.
I think it's a half as well.
How many hearts do I have? How many hearts do I have in real life?
So, most, I think, normal people have a similar, I think, amount of health to like what Link has when he starts the game. It's like 3 hearts.
Jeez.
So you.
Wait, does that mean that I'm also super frail at the beginning?
Well, I mean, technically
Oh
speaking.
yeah, do you get heart containers?
You visually, you could physically see your little heart containers on the top just blinking.
Oh my god.
You stub
me
your
tell
toe,
you,
you lose a quarter.
imagine-
You're on
the-
the deathbed and it's just
Say-
the ringing noise of,
Oh
oh,
my
you're about to
God.
die.
No, imagine for a
my
minute.
death
that you
approaches.
had-
No.
Imagine for a minute if you like in real life had an overlay and like at the top left of your eyesight there was always just like the fucking.
I'd hate that.
hearts.
I'd hate that so much.
I would hate that too. That'd be so fucking annoying.
It would.
I'm passing. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I honestly, I have chances where it's like I will eat food and then I'll find something I don't like in the food a lot more than I wished I did. So I will probably similarly pass on this one, though I do think the healing property would be good to have. Especially if you like fucking broke a leg and you just go, oh, I'm just gonna eat a carrot and boom, my leg's not broken anymore. But
Oh,
yeah, I think
man.
similarly, as fun as that would be, I just don't want to get poisoned a lot.
Yeah.
So I think I will also not press that button.
My only thing is that I don't want to see the overlay, and I don't want it to chime at me every time I'm a half a heart.
Hey, listen!
There you go.
You little Navi. Okay, on to the next one. So, on this one, you get to control any animal, as if it was a Pokemon. But, in order to be able to control that Pokemon, or that animal as a Pokemon, you must beat it in a fight. So, what animal do you think you could fight legitimately, and then, if you win, you
polar
can
bear.
control it?
Okay, wait. Is it only the one, or could I theoretically I fight a dog and then I use the dog to fight a cat
think
and
it's-
I get the cat. And I can use the dog or the cat to fight
It says specifically any animal that you can fight yourself, so you wouldn't be able to use another creature to fight.
I have to be able to fight it in order to capture it.
Yes. So your
You'll have
limitations are what
that
you were
just
able to beat in a
train
fight.
me.
Okay, but I can't use them like Pokemon to fight other Pokemon. Okay.
Oh, you can. They'll listen to your command perfectly, but you won't tame that creature afterwards for doing that.
Unless I get the final hit.
Yes, or
Well,
unless,
one.
like, for the most part, you do most of the damage.
Okay. What if I do I have to just get it to near death, or do I have to knock it out? Like, what's
It'd
the
be a
clock
situation of
speed
knockout,
for me?
it going unconscious.
Okay, but if it's nearly bleeding out, but it doesn't die, but it passes out, does that count?
As long as it goes
Okay.
unconscious, you're good.
So
You
I
claim
could
it.
take an elephant. I could take an elephant gun and shoot a fucking polar bear. In the wait for
There
it to
you
bleed,
go.
And wait for it to bleed enough to pass out but not die, and then I tame it, and then it's mine.
What if I
That's
just
And then I
take
really
bring it
sad.
to Nurse
last?
Joy, and she heals it fully.
So, what I will say is, I think more prompt-wise, I feel like this would be more of not using weapons.
Well, you never said that. You never.
Yeah,
this
use
is
your
real life. I
bare
can use weapons.
fist? No, I was gonna use a pane of glass and just have birds hit it.
What
can
did you
tame
say?
Only birds.
Only birds. Yes, I want
Yeah.
to fly.
That's,
he was gonna-
you
he
know,
was gonna
honestly,
tame
it's not a
so
bad
many
idea.
birds they would lift him into the sky.
That's really funny. I must go, my people need me. You start flying away.
Well, here's the other problem: is now that you're thinking it's because you said to the knockout. Now
Yeah.
you gotta knock out a dog. Now I'm not saying that I could knock out a dog, but I would imagine my fucking little Shih Tzu. And I'm like, sorry, buddy. Fucking
I'm
rock
sorry.
right hand.
Just
Fucking
kick the
right
shit
hook
out of
right,
them.
right to the.
But hey,
jaw.
you know, it's like in
Knock the fuck
Pokemon.
out.
When you tame them, for the most part, they're pretty nice to you afterwards.
Yeah, but now it's I have to.
You have to live with the
wait-
memory
I
of that.
Yeah, I have the fucking lights out of the fucking snake or something.
I'm just looking at Lucy like, I'm sorry, little one.
I'm
No,
sorry,
imagine
little one,
you
but
take a
this
fucking
must
snake by the end
happen.
of the tail and you just like whoosh it around.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that to Jasmine's.
The noodle.
Oh, poor
noodle.
thing. It's getting clogged. All right.
Yeah.
I will press. I think this would actually be kind of fun. I think similarly.
What animal are you knocking out?
No, here's the thing. I think
what
actually.
are you doing with this?
What are you knocking out?
No, here's the thing. I actually think small animals would be the win here. I think if you could knock out a bunch of like rats or some shit like that, you control them.
No, it's not about the usefulness. Now you're the guy who's knocking out rats.
Yeah, I'm just punching fucking rats, dude. It's a fucking rat.
You are knocking out a... Why? It's a defenseless animal and you're just walking up to it and you're like, it's your time.
Yeah, because
like,
guess what? I punch it, now it's my friend.
But now you're like, maybe, like, but now you're risking you fully punching a rat could kill it.
It's depending on how fucking
Also,
much
their
I'm pulling.
lifespan suck anyway.
What?
You know, I mean,
The lifespan.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they only live
Yeah,
for like
they
a
still
few
die.
years, if that.
yeah.
But
At
could you
least
imagine, like,
birds
you
have
go
it.
into a house that's infested with rats, you just start fucking wailing,
I'm just saying, like,
and that
all I'm
army of them
hearing-
becomes an army of you.
All I'm hearing is you want to go to Dylan's house and knock out his rats.
Don't fucking.
He has
That would be
rats?
really funny. It's just,
Yeah, he has
Joe, I gotta
rats.
do it. It's like that fucking
Oh,
meme of the guy walking through a family house and slapping them all.
Exactly. What if I
Slap
knock out a
tame,
person?
slap tame, slap tame, slap
No.
tame.
What if I knock out a person? Do they become my friend? Are they my Pokemon?
I
or
guess it
only
doesn't. I mean, it says animal, so do you consider
Okay.
people to be animals?
I would too, but like, was that considered fish?
I feel like a
How do
fish
you
is
knock
an
out a-
animal.
Yeah.
You're gonna
fish
knock out a. You're gonna
should
knock out a
count.
fish.
Technically speaking, actually, if I recall, like I think a shark actually isn't that hard to knock out. I think don't you have to just turn them fucking upside down?
No,
You'll get rotated, nerd.
if you roll them upside down, they can't move, so they die. They
Yeah.
don't technically get. They will eventually get knocked out because they'll pass out.
Wait.
Yeah. So you
Oh,
do
like
that the
you-
moment they like go out, you just turn back over. And it's like now we're friends.
Then you can ride into the sunset.
Exactly. Imagine fucking
Yeah.
throwing hands with a dolphin though. That shit would be fucking nuts.
Shark,
you.
you
Well, that
surf.
If I could somehow get a whale to beach, and then just like I don't even know how you'd knock one out, but like get right before it stops breathing, it can't breathe in the air.
You gotta tame it, and then it's still gonna be stuck on the beach.
Yeah, but I guess I'll get a whole bunch of people.
Bulldozer.
Yeah.
No, but you said it would be a Pokemon, so I can like put it into a ball and I'll like throw it into the ocean and
Well,
drink it.
I said you get to control it as if it was like a Pokemon. I don't think I said I could give it a Pokeball.
Okay, never mind. The motherfucker
Yeah.
it won't work.
Get the
You
bulldozer.
gotta punch. Well, to be fair, if I'm being honest, I don't know how much a whale would be able to struggle if you're just in there punching the shit out of it.
Yeah, I would say no because I don't want to be the guy who's knocking out animals.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm
Like,
doing
imagine,
it.
You're doing it?
My birds.
No, I'm saying you're
Yeah,
in your
I'm
neighborhood.
similarly doing it.
No, but here's the thing. He said that you can't use weapons.
Yeah, no,
So
you can
your
fucking
glass
punch a
pane thing won't
bird.
work.
I can
You can-
punch birds.
You can punch a bird, but now you're the bird puncher. Like,
Yeah,
you're
who
known
cares?
in
They're
your
fucking
neighborhood as the bird
birds.
puncher.
They don't need to know. I can
Yeah.
do it for
No,
it.
I'm just saying, like, you imagine, like, you're out in your neighborhood, right? You're out, on a fucking walk. You're outside, like, washing your car, and suddenly the neighborhood cat comes up to you, and he's like, meow, and you're like, meow. And then, like, some neighborhood kid comes up and just full-on right hooks the fuck out of this cat, knocking it straight out. You would be like, what the fuck, dude? I'm calling the police. You are a danger to society.
No, I
That is
I
you
do it
now.
not in front of people.
That is you now.
Technically speaking, you
You're
could
now
just
the cat.
take
You
the
are now the
creature
king.
home with you.
You are now the cat puncher.
Just a note on the podcast, we do not promote animal violence, just so you
No,
know.
that's why I'm saying no. You are promoting animal violence. I am not.
I never said
No.
anything like that. What I said,
You
I'd
said
punch a
that-
fucking
you said
rodent.
You said you would punch the fuck out of a rat.
I
You
would punch
condone
the fuck
rat
out of a
abuse.
rat because they're
Rat
rodents.
abuse matters. Rat lives matters.
To some,
Being
yes,
that
but
I'm
not
a
all.
cat puncher now, I need security from the internet, and that's a nice segue straight into our sponsor,
What?
NordVPN.
No, no, no,
day.
no.
Protecting my identity.
We are not sponsored.
One day.
Legally allowed to say we are not sponsored by
Hashtag
anyone.
Not sponsored.
on
but you can-
Minecraft.
But you can sponsor the channel.
Fight me on Minecraft.
Link. We
But
will
you know
take
you
your
can
money, we
do.
will
You
sell out
can
so
you can
fast.
enjoy this next prompt, which is the movie section, where we start with you gain the powers of Spider-Man from one of the movies. Which movie Spider-Man do y'all like the most right now?
Oh, Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire? I'm also of the Tobey
He's the
Maguire.
one with his natural web, so you don't have
That is true.
You don't have to make it.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm gonna agree with them.
All right, Tobey Maguire. But you, so okay, you get the powers of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but your life becomes 2 times harder. You gotta enjoy that hardship that Spider-Man goes through a little bit.
Well,
What'd you take?
My life is 2 times harder.
Yep,
What
life.
kind of hard? What definition of hard are we doing here?
Do I get like less sleep?
Yeah,
You
it's
just
like,
any difficulties you currently have are worsened.
but they could be. But a lot of my difficulties, I'm going to be overdoing by being Spider-Man.
Well, that's just how you deal with it then.
So like, I'm just saying, if you're going into this question and you're like obese, right? You being Spider-Man, you're going to be immediately muscled because that's what happens to him. So it's like you're going to lose all that fat instantaneously. So if your big struggle is that you're fat, you're going to lose all the fat immediately. Therefore, the biggest struggle in your life is now gone. So what's your new biggest struggle?
There's a problem with this though. We don't live in a city. We can't use those powers for shit.
It's like downtown.
I can make like a catapult out of my webs. That's about it.
No, here's the thing. It's like he's strong enough to where if he if you're staying on the street, you can flick a building at eye level, and then when you jump and you reel yourself in, you would still get to the building. Like you know, elevation is only really a problem if you're trying to go high. Being normal buildings are perfectly fine to swing to, not swing, from.
And swinging's not all his powers, lest we forget. He's actually really fucking fast.
He's really super strong.
Yeah, and very fucking durable.
I'm just saying, like, any problem I have in my life, I could immediately undo by being Spider-Man.
I like to imagine just the general hardships of, like, a general life become more difficult, like taxes and shit like that.
Taxes get more expensive.
I have to pay more taxes by being Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I'm getting, like, Incredibles.
Tax.
I live in the Incredibles universe where I'm now getting taxed for being a superhero.
Exactly.
Great. Fantastic.
But I guess a better way of putting it, and this is more what I was imagining when I thought of it, but basically, you effectively live the difficult life of having your life being written by a Spider-Man author whose like only sole purpose is to make Peter Parker suffer.
Is going to die.
Okay, never mind.
But I get to see Spider-Man, so no. If that is the caveat that everyone and I love.
So I'll split this into 2. If it is just your own life gets difficult, would you press it?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. But
if
you give yourself the hardships that Spider-Man has, would you press it?
No, fuck that.
I don't want Spider-Man tax. I'm not pushing it either way.
Spider-Man tax.
I'll take Spider-Man tax.
Alright, I honestly, I'm in either of these scenarios, I don't want to push it, because I don't want fucking shit to go wrong in any way. Like, I'm not pressing this button no matter what.
Cowards.
Yeah, but on a similar extent, we're gonna go to another universe similar from that. Is you get the wealth of Batman, but you must put someone you love through what Jason Todd went through just before he died.
Wait, what? Who is that one?
You have to Jason Todd somebody.
Okay. So my favorite, I have to do it.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, Jason Todd, who is my favorite, who I mentioned earlier as the Red Hood, is my favorite comic book character ever. Yep. He was the second Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So the first Robin wanted to be his own person, Nightwing, so he left. Then he was replaced by Jason Todd, who was actually a fairly good Robin, but he was not liked by the community at the time. So they literally put out a possibly rigged poll if they should kill Robin or not. The poll went yes. So they made Death in the Family, which is one of the most legendary comics ever. But it's a comic where Joker basically kidnaps Robin and then beats him to death with a crowbar and then blows him up. Later on, Talia al Ghul, or Superboy Prime, depending on which version you want to go with, would resurrect Jason, either purposefully or accidentally. If you're Superboy Prime, accidentally. If you're Talia al Ghul, it's purposeful. Puts him in the Lazarus Pit. He gets healed, and then because of the Lazarus Pit, he's crazy for a little while, but the Lazarus Pit, because he doesn't continuously go into the Lazarus Pit, he slowly becomes normal over time.
And in this scenario, you would not get to the Lazarus pit section. It would just end at the explosion.
Wait, I'd
So
have to kill somebody.
You would have to kill someone, not just normally. You would have to be in front of them, tie them up, beat the shit out of them with a crowbar, and then walk away and blow them up. That is the requirements to obtain the amount of wealth that you have, that Batman has. But it has to be someone you love.
Wait, is this gonna be taxed?
No, you just have his wealth. You just suddenly are rich. You're a billionaire.
Is it a wealth tax? Like inheritance tax on this?
Alright, I'm doing it.
You're gonna sacrifice one of your loved ones?
I am not beating one of my loved ones to death, which it has to be like a child, I guess. I'm not beating one of my cousins to death with a crowbar, which is a very violent, slow way to do it.
Such a horrible way to go.
Like you, speaking like, if you want the actual relationship difference, you are now beating your sister to death.
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why I'm not clicking this button. I'm not doing it.
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, I thought you meant like a random person.
No, someone you love.
Ah, I can't.
You have to Jason Todd somebody.
I don't hate anyone in my family. I can't do that.
Yep.
It has to be someone you love, so it has to be someone you actually do like.
Oh.
Because this is the part of the button that's that's disingenuous, is that now that you have the money, you have to play the role of Joker, not Batman.
No, I can't do it.
Yep.
No, I'm good.
Alright. Then on to the next question. You get to have the DeLorean from Back to the Future, but every time you use it, you forget a day from your past. So the more you use it, the more you'll forget about yourself.
I don't remember shit anyway. Let's fucking go.
Here's the thing: if we're going by Back to the Future's time logic, anytime you go back into the past and change something, your future is now changed. So you could, just like they do in the second movie, you could go back in time and do like what? Like here, I guess here's the question: what would you want to do? What would you do if you were able to go back in time?
I'm killing Hitler.
Okay, you kill Hitler. When do you kill Hitler?
I'm doing what Deadpool couldn't.
Oh yeah,
you're killing him as a baby. So now World War II doesn't happen. So now your granddad doesn't go. Your granddad doesn't go to World War II. So your dad isn't born. So you're not born. So you can't go back in the past anyway.
Fuck it.
Now you just created a paradox.
And now you will eventually disappear until you fix your mistake and stop your past self from doing the thingy.
Exactly. So you're just opening yourself to infinite loops.
So here's my thing. I would do it to just see what, like, the past looked like, to experience the past. I wouldn't interfere, I would experience.
As long as no one knows you, it's fine.
Yeah. As long as anything you do doesn't inherently make something shift, just horrendously in the time frame of things, you should be fine. I think I would press this button.
Alright, I'm not killing Hitler, I'm doing what you're doing as well.
Yeah, I probably would. No, Hitler, sadly, for whatever, he has to live to die.
For the history of our world to go as it has, some evils must exist.
Well, I like if we both got the DeLorean. Kevin is on a mission to kill Hitler, and my mission would be to stop Kevin from killing Hitler. My mission is just...
You just created, like, another movie for Back to the Future.
Okay, that's a game that I want. Where like you are a good guy, but in order to save the future, you have to save a bad guy.
Yeah, that's fun.
Operation Save Hitler. Oh no!
Wait, I will actually want a Back to the Future like spin-off series that's like this.
You could do. You could go back into the past and just get one of those cocaine-filled Coca-Cola bottles.
There you go!
Fuck yeah!
Oh no, I know the best way of doing things. You go back into the past and you place a bet on a thing that you know would win. So that when you go back into the future, you will have that money.
Well, no, here's the problem, is that it wouldn't be you. That they did this in the movies. If you actually watch the movies, it happens in the second one. They do this, and it changes who they are entirely. It changes the future.
Yeah. The sports element.
Unless you do one that's not too far in the past.
No, but here's the thing: is that here's the problem: is that you, growing up to this point, did not have money. You did not grow up with money. So if you go back in time and give yourself money, you no longer go back in time in order to have money. That's what happened. So you change your future.
You're right.
So it's
You
not
just
you
have
anymore.
money then.
Yeah, it would no longer be you. That's why when Marty goes back after Biff gets his money, it's his dad is dead. Because he was hired by a hitman to kill him by Biff. His mom is married to Biff and has implants and stuff, and now he's Biff's son. It's like, even if you only affected yourself, you're not, because one, who are you giving this investment to? Because you're a child. If you go back in time too far, if you went like the Cubs win the World Series, you're still 15, 16. So you're still a child. So who are you giving it to who's old enough to actually be able to transfer the money over? Now it's not just you who's getting wealth; it's your sister, it's your parents. It's like you getting money affects a lot more than just you.
Yeah. But regardless of that, I'm pressing the button. Anyone else?
No, I'm not.
I'm pressing it.
All right, then moving on to the next one.
Okay. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna press it only to screw up everything that Kevin
Fuck
does.
off.
That's funny.
Fuck off.
I
My
agree
plan
to
is
this.
to undo everything Kevin does.
My goal then, I guess, is to watch you all screw around and just follow for no reason.
There you go.
But
It's
anyways,
really all
yeah.
we're doing is really.
I'm just there to record it all. I just have a camera in the car.
Yeah, in reality, all we're doing is making this Magic School Bus.
Yeah,
We're just
pretty
all
much,
doing an
yeah.
adventure together.
So, the next prompt is you get to be best friends with any actor, but you must reenact their worst movie role.
Oh yes, yes.
I similarly would also do this because there's one guy I want to be friends with before he himself is bad.
All I have to do is reenact their worst movie role. Easy.
I don't know actors all that well, so go ahead and hit me with your
Alright,
guys.
okay, I guess, yeah, which actor would you want to do?
For me, easily I'd do Robin Williams. I've always wanted
He's
to
dead.
meet the man. I know he's
He's
dead.
dead.
So I would. No, here's the thing.
He's dead.
Yeah, I know, but it's any actor.
You're talking now. You're reenacting his corpse.
No, I'm
talking
reenacting
to
a
him,
part
he's
of
dead.
my time where he was alive.
Why?
I
That's
want
not what you
to.
said
I
right
want to be
now.
friends with him.
But it says right now. This is someone that you would befriend.
It says get to be best friends with any actor. Doesn't say any time.
Yeah, that'd be alive. Come on.
Okay, if we're going by the distinction of alive, then
Now
I would
could be
probably.
I could be Charlie Chaplin's friend.
I mean, that's if you want to do that. But if we're doing just alive, then I would probably do Jim Carrey. He's always been the one who's made me laugh the
You want
most.
to be Jim Carrey's friend? That sounds like an awful time.
It might be, but I think he's funny as fuck.
It's not that he's not funny. It's that he's absolutely batshit crazy in real life.
Oh, I know.
Um,
But when are actors not? I think the only one who's legitimately not is probably Keanu Reeves. It'd be fun.
Yeah, honestly, I might go Johnny Depp.
Oh, that's a good choice too.
Me and Johnny Depp share a birthplace and a birthday.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Now, if you look up where he was born, you know where I live. So
Yep.
shit.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we were born
I'm
in
pressing
the
the
same
button.
place and born the same
That's
day,
all I'm
just
saying
like
is I'm
23
being
years
friends with some actors. I just get to do a horrendous rendition of their already horrendous movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin, you got any input on this? I think you said you didn't know many
Kevin
actors.
wants to reenact Marilyn Monroe's one acting job.
I don't know what that is.
Did you not know who Marilyn Monroe is?
That's fine.
No, I don't know actors.
You don't know Marilyn Monroe?
No.
Yeah, actually, you're gay. Never mind. That's fine.
Whoa,
What?
What does that have to do?
never mind.
She's
Anyways,
She's the sex icon.
So-
Like, if you think when you think of like all-time classic, not pornography, but like Playboy, she's number one.
she was. She's your. To give you.
She was so famous
note,
as being a model. She was killed by the Kennedys.
She was. Also, she. If you wanted an image of her generally, she's the one that has like curly blonde hair, wears a white dress over the vent that's like blowing up into her dress. Have you ever seen that image?
No.
Alright then. I guess we'll move on to this one, which is, by the way, I just want to say, this one's kind of funny because I feel like we talked about this a lot recently. But you get to have force powers, but you have to
Why
now
did
live.
that happen?
Hold on. But you have to now live with Yoda and his later year antics for the rest of your life.
Okay. I just want to point out, I looked on Google Marilyn Monroe, and I looked at images, and it was all fairly good images of her, but I wanted specifically the vent image. I put Marilyn Monroe vent, and it's all porn.
What the fuck?
I don't know why the word vent turns it from normal Marilyn Monroe to all. It's not even her porn. It's all these random women. And they're like, why?
That is very
why
strange.
is the word vent?
I guess that means something different to someone else.
I guess the word vent means something very different. Okay, don't look that up, or do look that up. I'm not your dad. That's fucking weird.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, what were we talking about?
You get force powers, but you have to now live with Yoda and his later year antics for the rest of your life.
Fuck yeah. Is he like always on my back?
You get that crazy Yoda who was just fucking around with Luke the entire time he was training.
Is he like a force ghost, or is he like physically there?
No, he's physically there. He's a little goblin running around you.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Is he always gonna hop up on my back?
I mean, he can do anything you want.
Only...
Most likely he'd be there to train you and all that too, but like, he'd just be a little gremlin, you know?
Only if he does not have a phone.
He lives with you. He could get a phone. You'd be sitting there on your phone and be like, what you see? And grab that fucking shit.
Yeah, no, I would do it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Force powers, all of them? Like,
I'm banning him from using a phone, but yes.
All of them?
It would probably be a situation where you have to learn how to do that to get those
but like, but who am I comparably strong to in the Star Wars universe? Because that matters.
No, I'm getting a butt ton of notifications. I need to turn on apparently streamer modes settings correctly.
Because if I'm like Revan strong, that is absolutely insane. But if I'm like,
you're not like I don't imagine you'd be like Isekai levels of strength, you know, where you get thrown to like a world.
So I'm like Obi-Wan level. Like I'm like moderately strong.
You're just an average Force user that can become strong. You just have to get to that point, which I guess would be easy since you have Yoda there with you. But it's Yoda,
that's not how the Force works. It's not like Luke needed to be trained to reach his potential, but he only had a limited potential. He can't. Yeah. He could never be as strong as Revan was, because Revan just had a higher ceiling. So it's like, who is my comparable ceiling?
Then I would say Obi-Wan's probably fair, because he wasn't like, he was really good with the Force, but he wasn't like amazing.
Exactly.
You know? So I think that's a good like barrier.
I mean, I would still do it, but
yeah, I think I'd also do it. I think having a little gremlin Yoda would be hilarious. I don't know why. I just love the idea of little Yoda.
It would be better if I got Grogu. I would get so many chicks.
Oh my god. Yeah, you show up with you just show up with Yoda wrapped up in a swaddle.
Exactly. If I had Grogu and I was like, baby Yoda, they'd be like, oh my god. He's so good.
I just like the idea. Yeah, you turn him into like, you get him like swaddled up and shit, and you just walk around place and he just looks at you and goes, like a fucking wingman I am.
Exactly. Well, that's OG Yoda. I'm talking about Grogu, but yeah, that works.
I know. But anyways, from that we will now move on to the anime section. We are going to be trying to speed through this a little bit because I do got to end here soon. But we've done pretty good so far in the things of the podcast time wise. But on to the anime section. So you get all 7 Dragon Balls, but you must share your wishes with someone you hate the most.
Well, I don't really hate anybody, so who is it?
It'd be anyone you consider just generally not good to be around. Someone you may consider maybe as like a rival or an enemy.
I'm sharing my 3 wishes with Dylan.
Well, yeah. Would you press the button?
I mean, yeah. I wouldn't wish anything ill on him, and I doubt he would wish any ill on me. So, yeah, fuck it. Wait, how many wishes do we get?
You get 3, because that'd be the current Dragon Ball one.
Yeah. Okay. Then yes, perfect.
I don't think
I
you
wish
could split
for
a
the perfect panties.
Of course you'd fucking say that.
You know what's hilarious about that scene? You know whose panties they are? It's not just random pair. It's actually someone's underwear at that time.
Yeah.
Whose?
It's Bulma's.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Because he saw Bulma in her underwear, so he wanted her underwear specifically. So the perfect panties was hers. It's like...
Dragon Ball back in the day was wild.
It was. She was also 13 and was completely naked on screen at one point, so that's neat, isn't it?
So, I don't I don't know if I would press this button because the person I like the least was someone we kicked from our friend group because of shit I had heard they done. Yeah, the pedophile. I don't know if I can give them any leeway.
What happens if you give a pedophile wishes?
What do you fucking think?
No,
I wish for kids.
For the safety of everyone in this world, I will refuse this button. I don't want to see anyone with that power who is of that mindset. What about you, Kevin?
I find more people more annoying. I don't really have anybody like that.
Yeah.
I was not consciously.
Got any enemies, Kevin?
I don't know. I don't know who my enemies are.
Well, I mean, if you don't know, do you have any?
Kevin's enemy is the
really.
man in the mirror who gives his autism.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
All right, you press that button.
Even though I
think
have
that's
no
fair.
idea who's getting these wishes.
Yeah, who the fuck is... Now, see, ours, we can understand who might get it. You have no idea who's getting your other wish.
Honestly,
know
For all
that
you know,
I-
it could be Donald Trump.
no.
I've come to collect my wish.
Do you one? That'd be I would love it. I would
He's in
love that.
character.
That'd be so fucking wild.
That would be someone I like, though. So that's a problem.
That's
So wait, whoa, Joe Biden. I don't dislike Joe Biden.
Joe
I like
Biden. He wouldn't
You
be able
got
to
Joe
make a wish. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
I
Hold on,
wish
try.
the popsicles were pretty nice last night.
Yeah, pat, ice cream, ice cream.
Anyways, on to the next one. You get the powers of any devil fruit in One Piece, but the government will label you as a criminal.
I've never seen One Piece ever, so.
So my general thing for the people who do not know this one is, think of like an element, or think of like a thing that exists in this world as like an idea. That can have properties of a devil fruit. A great example of this is Luffy's, before amazing things happened that recently occurred, his was originally the rubber fruit, right? So your body became elastic and prone to only the weaknesses that rubber would have as a substance. Similar to that type of thing. So I guess in this case, what like properties or powers would you like to have that you think would fit in a devil fruit?
I want to be the Avatar.
I want to become a furry, but real.
So that's actually really easy in One
What's
Piece,
the
because
name?
there are devil fruits that are animals and that you turn into them. You even have like halfway transformations.
He wants to become an actual husky, like full on, and then he wants.
Well, I guess legitimately, Kevin, what animal would you want to transform into?
Snow leopard.
That's actually that's a pretty good choice.
You mean a snow leopard?
That's a pretty good choice. They have a cheetah Zoan type who can like transform into that, which is not too dissimilar in like the looks a little. So I could imagine that being like swapped over and looking pretty good. So that's a pretty good one actually. I like that choice.
You can just come to my house, get on all fours, and say meow. That's like pretty much the
Meow.
experience right there.
Yeah. What about you, Kelly?
I want to become the Avatar.
So there are ones that are based on the elements, but generally speaking, they're not ones that are like multiple elements at once. There is a fruit that is pure fire. There's one that works with the wind. There's one that's even lightning itself. There's one that's magma, for fuck's sake. There's one that's trees and water. There isn't one that's water. We haven't seen one. We have seen one that's ice. But the list kind of goes on. There is one that kind of controls the wind. It's a little different.
Is there one that's like metal bending?
You know, I don't think we've seen one, but I don't doubt that there is. Because there is one where a dude can turn his hands and body parts into like actual blades.
I would say this. I don't know enough about the restrictions or the ability of.
Generally speaking, there's not that many.
Whatever. I can't realistically answer this question.
That's fine.
So I would press button, but I would have no concept of what I would do.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. But I also become a criminal. No, I'm good. I'm not pressing.
Oh yeah, that is the other part. You become a wanted man.
You become a wanted snow leopard. They put you in a fucking zoo.
Well, okay, so there is something that's good about his specific situation, is he can remain as an animal, and that's all they'll know him as. But then at points he just shift back into being a normal human, and they would not know.
No, but you said, but you're wanted. So
Yeah,
you're
you're a
wanted
wanted
as a snow
criminal.
leopard and a human. So they'll come get you.
Would you risk being an animal for criminal
You'll be
actions
put
and
in the
activity?
zoo.
I'm good, actually.
You don't want to press the button?
He would rather
No.
just come to my house, get on all fours, and say meow.
Meow.
That's funny.
See, he's already
Um,
started.
Being someone who has watched One Piece a lot, and knowing the amount of devil fruits there
Nerd.
are, like, so to give an example, there are fruits known as Logia types. These basically turn you
Nerd.
into the elements, right? So if you have a fire Logia, you are legit made of fire. You cannot be hurt
Nerd.
unless you have something that is against fire, like
Flame
water.
on.
Literally that, though. If I'm being honest, like, I would probably, if I wanted to just have a really powerful effort that I don't think anyone would fuck around with, and, like, the government couldn't do shit against, I would probably do something like fucking a lightning devil fruit or some shit like that, because that exists, and it's really fucking powerful, and you move as fast as lightning, so no one's gonna fucking touch you. There's even a light fruit, so you turn literally into light and move as fast as light, and it's ridiculously powerful as well. I would probably do it if I had the light fruit, honestly. Because it'd be so fucking cool. Like, what would the fucking government do? They wouldn't even be able to do anything.
That also means that you couldn't really exist in society.
That is true, though. It would have to be a situation where it's like, yeah, you're right. Because the government would be like 100% being like, doing crazy shit to prepare for your return to any place you go to normally.
Like you're talking like most wanted criminal vibe.
Yeah,
right? So
you would become like number one.
You couldn't even open up you couldn't even go to like McDonald's without them knowing. They know everything you're doing, and
Yeah.
you can't exist outside that.
You know what? I kind of agree with you on that one. Nah, I won't press that button then.
Your options are to become a supervillain or don't.
Yeah, pretty much. Next question. Okay, I guess I'll ask this first though. Have y'all seen Naruto?
No.
Yes, but I was like 7.
All right. Well, this question might not be for the best then, in a similar sense to the One Piece one. So in this one, you get to have, or you to be a Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and have full control. So you are literally Naruto at his max. You are as strong as Naruto would be at that point. But you must restart your life alone like Naruto had. So would you obtain all the powers of Naruto and restart your life?
I know that he can turn himself into like a sexy lady.
He could.
That's about it. He can multiply and he become a sexy lady. He can also
this one,
multiply
the anime section is definitely going to be kind of goofy.
Can he have
for
sex
this.
with himself? Did we ever figure that one out?
He didn't, but he can. He didn't.
Okay, that's neat. That's good to know. I mean, that's definitely a plus. You
Yeah.
know, it's
You
just
do a lot of
extreme
shit.
masturbation.
Extreme.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Still
But-
you.
If I'm being honest, I don't want to restart my life for
You're
power.
saying you wouldn't.
I wouldn't press that button.
You're saying you wouldn't fuck yourself.
I would not. I do not. That sounds like such weird self-cessed thing. You know, I'm not into that.
It's not self-cessed. Like I said, it's extreme masturbation. It's not the same thing at all.
Anyways, what about you two? You pressing that button, you get an extreme power at the cost of resetting?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You were quiet for that one a lot. What were you contemplating?
No.
He didn't want to become Giant Fox Boy. Okay, so the next one. You get to have any anime character as your friend or a lover, but the antics of that character will be twice as crazy.
Wait,
So
say
there's-
it again?
Okay. You get to have any anime character as your friend and or lover, but the antics of that character will be twice as crazy.
Ah! I never even watched it. Momo to Loveru.
That's pretty funny. Honestly, God, I don't fucking know this one.
Sorry, I
because,
said to wait for a
like,
second. What was Kevin's answer?
He said to love Rue.
But which person?
Momo.
You want crazier version of Momo? How much crazier do you get from what she already is?
I
Holy
don't know.
shit,
I
dude.
never even watched To Loveru.
No, she's like good kind of crazy, but she is crazy.
I'm trying to sit here thinking of like characters I think that would be fun to hang around in like I can only think of Luffy because he's the one I just talked about, and the idea of him going even stupider. Like, he's as dumb as a bag of bricks, but he'd be even dumber if he was around me.
I gotta think. Who would I? Realistically, who am I trying to bang?
Luffy would fucking put me in food debt.
Wait, isn't Momo underage?
Oh god, I don't know how old she
Actually?
is.
She'll age up.
No, never mind. Never mind.
She's 14 at the beginning.
I don't.
But she does age up.
I don't think I know enough
Oh.
characters that would I would want to be
Still,
around. I mean, like, can you imagine being friends with Goku and he's twice as wanting to fight people?
Yeah.
He just goes to like a dude thinks he's strong and punches the shit out
I'm
of him.
thinking like lady for the main girl, whatever her name is, I don't remember. The main girl from Spy X Family.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember. her
Not like the
fucking name.
child, the
Yeah,
adult.
obviously not the child. What the fuck
Whatever
is
her
her
name
name?
is.
I don't remember. I know who you're talking about, the one with the black hair.
Not that girl that I just sent in chat. That's unrelated.
Unrelated.
That is, by the way, you listening or watching know this. I sent a picture of Nana. I actually sent a drawing that Clayton did of Nana, who is the twin sister of Momo from Kiwi. There you go. So she looks relatively like that. Because they're still twins.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I guess I'd pick like her, because like her big antic is that she's super loving and very she defends who she loves very ruthlessly. So basically, I have this super assassin that wants to protect me at all costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also wants to get breeded hard. So
Oh god.
that's the only downside is that she would want to really have she's like, put baby in me right fucking now, or I'll
That
hurt
would be
you.
wild.
But you know what? Kind of into it.
I don't know any specific anime character I think that I would actually legit want at the cost of them going fucking crazy. You see, I guess I could be smart, and if I chose, so going back to One Piece, Nami, she's probably the most sane person there. The only thing she has a problem with is she's extremely greedy and tries to get as much money as she possibly can. So that would just double.
She's even more greedy.
Yeah, so, but that might be good for me, because that means she might just take businesses where she just gets a fuck ton of money. So I think I'll press that button for Nami, so I can possibly have a loophole for getting money and still be loved by an absurdly smoking hot lady.
There you go.
I think it's a win.
Any more buttons?
There is one more button left. This is the end all. You get to have
Me.
One for All as your quirk without drawbacks, but using it more than an hour a day will cause your body to experience immense pain, similar to Deku's experience when he overdid it.
So I'm breaking my arms and everything.
That's
Okay.
only if you go over the hour limit. So for an hour, you are as strong as like
all of the
Prime
perks,
All Might.
Do I get all of the quirks of One for All, or only the base quirk?
One for All isn't. One for All is All Might's quirk.
No. Incorrect.
Are you sure?
Yes. I watched it and read the manga. She has one. Here's the thing, One for All gets passed on from person to person. So at one point, All Might has One for All, but he doesn't have all of it. He only has one piece. One for All. Deku gets all 9 people, technically all 8 pieces, because he's the 9th. So do you get all of the other perks, all the other quirks of it, or only the power quirk?
I think you would get like the end tier of it. You'd get the Deku stuff.
Oh, then fucking easy. Yeah.
That's because my original thought was just like Prime All Might level.
Here's the thing: is if you get Prime Deku, you get Danger Sense. Therefore, the moment you reach the hour mark, your body would sense that it's about to take damage, and that you would just stop.
Yeah.
Or you would stop as soon as possible. So yeah, if you're Prime Deku, absolutely. If you're Prime All Might, probably not, because it would be hard to gauge an hour.
You can always set it on your phone.
I guess that's fair, but like,
give yourself like a 5-minute leeway.
Yeah, I guess you could.
I think I'd press it just because it would be so funny. Like, if I'm doing the All Might one, it would be so funny to be sitting there, you see someone getting picked on or some shit, and you just suddenly Hulk out for like a moment, it's like, get the fuck down, it's just like, oh shit!
Well, that's not a quirk. But, yeah.
But anyways, what about you, Kevin? You pressing this button, you getting all for one,
yeah.
or one for all, or whatever the fuck? You are? I think that's a pretty synonymous one, yeah. It's just a good one to have. An hour's not hard to monitor. You just set like a minute, like a 5-minute pre-timer at the end of it, so you should be fine.
Well, especially if you get all the Deku ones, because that one is like, you can it gets gear shift.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's already, you're already super fast. You're not Bakugo fast. You're nearly as fast. You get, what is it? It's not Dark Whip. What is it called?
Black Whip?
Oh god, Black Whip.
I think it's called Black Whip.
Black Whip. You get Black Whip, which is basically now you're Spider-Man again.
Yep.
It's like you become a lot of variables.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And then
Most
on
of
top of
it-
that, you got like
and-
fucking Hulk strength at the end of it all.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, Danger Sense alone would be worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm pressing that button, and with that button being
I'm
pressed,
becoming a cactus.
What?
That's one of the quirks.
Is it really?
There's one guy
Yes.
at like the first episode
That's
that
so
it
funny.
shows him being a cactus.
I don't remember that at all, but that's funny. But-
Nobody does.
Yeah,
But
of course
I
not.
do.
I do too.
All right, and I'm glad you all remember that because it's time for us to remember that this is the end of today's episode.
Yes, I do have to go.
Yeah, as do
I have
I.
to as well. I have to study
Before
for 2
we
tests.
do any of that, Kevin, do you
No.
have anything you want to shout out for yourself?
Once again, thanks to our sponsor. What is it? this
No,
time?
we don't have a
Hey,
sponsor.
Shadow Legends.
No, son of a gun. Thank you all for watching. We hope you had a good, fun time with us. Go
Watch
check
the
out
Borderlands
the.
series with me and Kevin.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Use code 6969 to get
69420.
69% off.
Thank you for joining. Go check out the description where you will have all the links to anything that is shareable to anyone, including our own Discord, which you should
one
join.
Day we're gonna make T-shirts, and we're gonna get
One day.
discount codes for T-shirts. The first discount code will be 69.
69,420. But anyways,
right.
with that being said, we are going to be heading out for time being. We'll see y'all next time. So have a good one, everybody. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.